my day. Thinking about you, girl. Being here with you, being there with you. Can't explain myself. I feel like I do. Like I do. Though it hurt me so, to let you know. Look in your eyes. Let me know how you feel. Let me know the love is real. Well, it seems to me that I'm wrapped up in love. To know that I'm still here, shut up in love with you. I know that I'm still here, shut up in love with you. Look in your eyes. All the years I see me loving you and you loving me. I seem to be but I'm wrapped up in love. Don't you know that I'm still here? Shuffling over you, don't you know that I'm still here? Shuffling over you, yeah, I tried to hold you. What's up, everybody? Peace, 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 people. This is For Black Righteous Folks Home, short for Black. I appreciate everybody for watching my last video. It was extremely a good video. Unfortunately, I played a song that was copywritten and they took the video down, but it was a good time. It was over 100,000, 122,000 to be exact. And I really, really appreciate everybody's support and listening and watching the videos. But I'm not getting people to hit the like, and I don't understand that. I see so many people that's subscribing, but they're not liking. And I hope that you guys would do me a favor by hitting the like button as well. We're going to have a great show today. We're going to talk about that border. Trump went to Michigan and he had a speech talking about migration. And then, of course, Kamala Harris went to the border on Friday, faking the funk, like she really cares about the border, even though she's the primary reasoning for why the border is in the way that it is. So we're going to talk about that as well. So for all videos that I use is going to be under fair use, under the 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976 for education, observation, research, scholarship, commentary, entertainment, all the above. So what we're going to show first, what I'm going to show first is the border and still how easy it is to compromise the border. And a lone citizen decided to take it in his own hands to stop the surge of influx of immigration in this video. Let's take a look at this video real quick. You see them all milling around. They're looking to see how they can jump over that, get over and climb the border. You see one person like climbing up on a ladder. Convenient, isn't it? Convenient.
Hey, get the fuck back! You see this? Get back! Get back! Get the fuck back! Get down! You ain't coming! No! No! Get the fuck down! Get the fuck down! Right now! Get down! Get down! No! Get down! Get down! Get down! Not today!
So one lone citizen decided to take it in his own hands to stop the influx of migration on that particular day. That's what more citizens should do, because we're having a big issue, y'all. Just how easy it is just to get over that border.
Right here in the bushes. Over there. Hey, you're making money. Right? Did you see what just happened? We stopped an invasion on our own right here today. 20, 30, 40 people.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Hey,
Amen.
if we had 40, 20, 30 people here come over every day, this would never happen.
Right.
We catch them right in the middle and just go, you can't do it no more.
Right. Yeah.
That's it. Game over.
Yeah, right.
Don't tread on us.
Yeah, right.
We're tired of it.
Right. Every day for the last year and a half.
Yeah. And you just keep doing it.
Right, yeah.
And we're sick and tired of it.
All right. So one person took it upon himself to really get involved and stop those particular migrants from entering into the United States. But there's so many people that we have missed already. And you won't believe this next news report if you guys haven't heard about how many illegals that are over here that are criminals, murderers, rapers, all kinds of things. They have been let go in the United States on purpose. And here's the next news report from Fox News. Take a look at this. Please hit the like. Thank you.
Kamala's high crimes Harris at the border. That's the focus of tonight's angle. So as I said, she's hitting the border, hoping to turn the page on her reputation as an open border zealot. But instead, the book was open to reveal the stomach-churning truth about the criminal element she welcomed in. In response to a congressional request for information, ICE revealed that more than 13,000 illegal aliens convicted of murder are now in the United States. Oh, and they're not in custody. More than 1,800 have been accused of murder as well. Nearly 16,000 have been convicted of sexual assault. But the Harris campaign is out with a new ad celebrating her border cred.
Kamala Harris has never backed down from a challenge. She put cartel members and drug traffickers behind bars, and she will secure our border.
Yes, someone got paid huge money to produce that ad. They really think Americans are that stupid? Yeah, that's what they think. Now, her role as California's AG mostly involves state-level crimes, not big cartel cases. And News Nation notes that her claims about jailing gang members for cross-border smuggling also seems inflated, because her cases mostly involve local drug offenses, not international smuggling operations. And in the Tucson sector, where she's speaking today, under Harris and Biden, Customs Border Protection logged 1.2 million, as they call them, encounters since they took office. Now, during Trump's 4 years in office, almost 1 million fewer came in, or 246,000. Bill Malugin will give us key details and the total numbers coming up. They're truly shocking. Now, this has already devastated cities and towns across America, and there's no other conclusion to draw except that Biden and Harris and Mayorkas conspired to intentionally subvert America's sovereignty and the rule of law. Look, they believe borders are immoral, unless they're Ukraine's. They want an unending torrent of cheap labor flooding into the United States, and this is key, they want to change the electorate. Yeah, Elon Musk is right.
And Trump is right. He has always pointed out about them flooding and pouring into the United States and them being a criminal element, not all, but plenty. And now that the United States has allowed them to just roam about in the United States has put us more in danger. And no, this is not propaganda of Russia. This is my own mind from what I have observed, what I have seen, and what I understand. This is not Russian propaganda. This is real reality of what's going on in the United States right now, unfortunately, and it has to be dealt with. And the only person that's running for election is Trump, that I feel will deal with the migrant situation. It will not be Kamala Harris. Just because she posed at the border does not mean that she's taken serious that situation, because if she did, she would have did something about it for the last 3.5 years as vice president, and she has not done anything except for laughed and had a good time. So let's get back to this.
Now, if this isn't impeachable conduct, I don't know what is. And I said this years ago, by the way. How is this not a high crime, high crimes and misdemeanors? Americans are dying because of these policies. And remember back in 2019, Democrats impeached Donald Trump based on what he said on a phone call with Zelensky. Now, Democrats spent countless man hours, untold amounts of taxpayer money, on a sham proceeding meant to hobble his presidency and affect the campaign. And the catalyst, let's not forget, were Ukrainian apologists working in the White House. Yet Joe and Kamala fling open our borders to millions of foreigners. They fast-track them into our communities. They destroy local cultures. They strain already strained budgets. And all along, we find out they've tried to hide the truth about the criminals that they allowed to walk right in and brutalize us. Again, I ask, how is that not a high crime in and of itself? The families of the victims who Biden and Harris have left behind probably have another word for this. I would imagine the word treason is on their minds. Now look at these faces. They've been arrested for everything from rape, murder, carjacking, robbery, domestic assault, DWI. None of them should have been here. And Harris's empty border rhetoric tonight does nothing to change the suffering endured by these families.
The horrors that my daughter suffered. And it's because of these open borders. They are nothing but monsters who are predators, and those are the kind of individuals that we so openly let in this country. I believe the Biden-Harris administration open border policies are responsible for the death of my daughter.
Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and every Democrat who supports these open border policies are complicit in the deaths of 300,000 innocent Americans, including my son, Weston.
Now, it took ICE, by the way, about 6 months to get back to Congressman Gonzalez when he requested this information. But Harris has been so intent on keeping this out of the news that she won't even speak to her own administration's border chief. And she didn't speak to the last Border Patrol chief either.
I've never had one conversation with the president or the vice president for that matter. And so I was the chief of the Border Patrol. I commanded 21,000 people. That's a problem.
But pretending there's not a crisis of your own making is not a strategy, Madam Vice President. It's a tacit admission of failure. The Border Patrol, by the way, it doesn't really need more resources. What it needs is a president who believes that it's the fundamental duty, really the first duty of a president, to secure our borders. And her actions over the past 3.5 years, that's all we need to know about her belief in our system and our sovereignty. If stopping fentanyl at the border was a priority, other nations would have been put on notice by Kamala Harris. Mexico would have been warned of dire trade consequences as they were under Trump. If it didn't, like stopping human trafficking, is that is a priority for her? If they really cared about children that they now use as pawns?
And fentanyl is really, really becoming a big issue with all these migrants coming in and smuggling drugs and whatnot. A lot of families have been affected by it. In fact, there are 2 sisters that have lost their lives to fentanyl overdoses. Let me show you this real quick. Again, this is for everybody to see what is happening in real time in America. This is not Russian propaganda. In fact, last time I heard Russia president was for Kamala Harris, I heard. So this is not propaganda for Russia for those that are saying the little silly comments, trolling in the comment section.
Overdoses are affecting many families in the Mid-South, but imagine losing 2 children within months of each other. That's what a mother is left to endure as she's now raising her daughter's 5 children.
WREG investigator April Thompson shows how fentanyl changed everything.
5 minor children now being raised by their grandmother after their own mom's sudden death.
I'm about all they've got except for their uncles.
Brenda Diggs is their grandmother and now responsible for their care. Diggs never expected her 42-year-old daughter, Kenya Everett Wooten, and 34-year-old daughter, Keisha Diggs, dying just 3 months apart.
I just don't know. And it's mind-boggling.
Diggs says Kenya, her oldest daughter, grew up fast after having kids of her own at the age of 15.
So she lost her self-esteem, and I guess she thought building her self-esteem, having sex with guys would make her feel better about herself. She just spiraled, and it just was bad.
But she says Kenya had begun to get her life together. Then she got injured at work.
She hurt her ankle real bad. In fact, I think she broke it. And then they put her on some kind of medicine.
When her prescriptions ended, she started doing whatever she could to find pills to relieve her pain.
That's when she decided she could buy other people's prescriptions.
She says Kenya started getting pills off the streets. And on January 22nd of 2022, Brenda Diggs got a call from Kenya's boyfriend.
He called me, Miss Brenda, Kenya's dead. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? I'm asleep. And it's like, she died. She took something and she died.
She raced to the hotel where Kenya was staying.
I went in and lo and behold, Kenya was on the floor. The paramedics were there, but she was dead on the floor.
What did they rule the cause of death?
Accidental overdose of fentanyl.
And that wasn't the only tragedy to come. Kenya's younger sister, Keisha, had just been released from prison for prostitution. Her mom noticed signs something was wrong.
She was in the mirror combing her hair, and she was nodding, like she was asleep. She was just out of it. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? I don't know. And I'm thinking to myself, she's doing something.
March 25th, 2022, tragedy struck again. Brenda Diggs thought Keisha had gone out, but after days of not seeing her, she checked her bedroom.
Went in there, and the smell just almost knocked me out. I'm like, what is that smell? And I lost it. I ran out screaming, and ran down the stairs and outside with my phone. I called 911. And, I told them, I said, my daughter is not right. Can you please send somebody? I think she's sick or something.
Keisha was dead.
Lo and behold, they said it was fentanyl. She died of an accidental overdose of fentanyl.
Two sisters, 3 months apart, one deadly drug. A tragic story
a deadly drug that needs to be dealt with and handled to get it off the streets. They're lacing drugs and other pills and whatnot, and people are trying at one time, getting hooked to it, or they're dying. They're becoming unalived. So this is a real serious situation. And, the only person that's going to really want to deal with that is Trump. I know that lip service that Kamala Harris is saying that she's going to deal with it, but she hasn't done anything since she's been vice president. So how much faith can y'all really have trusting Kamala Harris now? I would not trust her.
They would have kept Remain in Mexico in place. But instead, on day one, Joe and Kamala dismantled every effective Trump border policy that was in place and that kept America safe. And by the way, I got to say this again. The idiotic so-called bipartisan border bill that Jim Langford and company tried to ram through, that died in the Senate, and Harris loves to cite this. It was such a farce that its only sponsors released it on, 48 hours notice. It was 370 pages long, by the way. Right before the vote, they finally released the text. And all you need to know about that legislation, again, that Kamala Harris will cite, is it gave CBP a paltry $7 billion in additional funding. Ukraine got $60 billion in the so-called border bill. So Americans are tired of butt-covering politicians in both parties. We know that. They want solutions. And in stark contrast to Harris's last-minute border choreography that we're going to watch tonight, Donald Trump is appealing to the pragmatic core of American voters.
I will send Congress a bill to ban sanctuary cities in the first day that I become president. I will end catch and release, and I will restore Remain in Mexico. We will seal the border. We will stop the invasion, and we will begin the largest deportation of criminals.
And he will. Immigration should be to our national benefit.
And he will. He might not do as much as he would like to do, like getting all the illegals out, but he's going to damn near try to get as best as he can, as many as he can out. And that's all you can ask for with a human being, instructing people to do their job with the capacity of what they have to work with in the large scale of migrants that are illegally over here. Over 11 million or so. That's a whole lot of numbers. Now we want to get to Trump's speech. He was out in Michigan talking about the migrant crisis. And again, he is the first one to really hone in on this topic. He's been serious about this topic since day one. He was serious about it when he was president, when he was building that wall. He's always had it in his mind to secure the border. Who would you want to go with? Someone that's always thought of the border, or someone that's finally thinking about it now, lately, and they've been a vice president? Come on.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. And a very special hello to Michigan. We're going to bring back your car industry. And it's great to be back in this beautiful state with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. Before we begin, I want to just repeat something that just came out over the wires. It's big stuff. By the patriots of immigration and customs enforcement. You know what that is? That's ICE. These are tough guys. They're almost as tough as you guys. Look at this. You guys. Not quite. Now, these are tough people. They love our country, but you need them. But for the first time ever, we have specific numbers that were just released. And it's about the people that crossed the border illegally under Kamala Harris. That she's even running is frankly ridiculous. That's not a president. That's not a president. She went to the border today because she wanted to see if she's getting killed on the border. And she went to the border. This was a bad day because somebody just released the numbers that came out through ICE. According to this brand new data never seen before, over 13,099 convicted murderers have crossed the border and are free to roam and kill in our country. These are convicted murderers. These are people that were in jail. Now, I've been talking about this for 3 years. When I heard they were opening up the border, 3.5 years, I said, if they open the border, because I know the people on the other side, and they're smart, savvy people, you know, they're at the top of their game. Our leaders are not at the top of their game at all. They never were, actually. But our leaders are not. These are smart people. And these are countries from all over the world. 13,000, more than 13,000 convicted murderers have been let out of jail, and they're roaming our streets, their country all over. And every state is a border state. You know what that means, right? Every state, because they fly them in. Can you imagine? They fly them in. These people, I'm starting to think they're stupid. They're just stupid.
And that's what makes it so crazy to me. Kamala Harris and Biden has been flying them in and busing them in and putting them in hotels and everything, but saying that they didn't cause the border crisis. But you made accommodations for them. Make that make sense. I don't understand the people that are support of Kamala Harris and they just let that go over their head. She has been involved with making their way to come here, make it easy and convenient to be able to come over here, inciting them to come, encouraging them to come. And now she's acting like she never did anything and putting all the blame on Trump. Which one is it? Did you help the people and accommodated the people to come here or not? You did. You're guilty. She should not be elected for president and rewarded for what she has helped cause. And I hope people are really seriously looking at Trump.
So that's one, as well, and other numbers came out along with it. Over 13,000 convicted murderers from jails in jail. And I told you, they're releasing them from jails, and these fake people, these stupid people, were saying they don't release them from jail. They do, Mike. They do. You know that. You better elect him your senator, I'll tell you. As well as and these are specific numbers. That's why when they rounded them out, I said, I don't want them rounded out. I want the exact number. As well as 25,272 illegals convicted of rape, sex offense, or sexual assault and in jail. These are people all in jail because they don't want them in jail. They're too expensive and they don't want them in their countries. They're smarter than us. They give them to us. We're like a dumping ground. In total, 425,431 non-detained, meaning they're no longer in detention, meaning prison, non-citizens, convicted criminals from all over the world are right now at large in the United States of America, with another 222,141 illegals with pending criminal charges, and these are serious criminal charges for murder, for drugs being sold all over the world where many people have been killed, because those are the ones they put in jail. We don't do that over here. We give them a fine. You know, every drug dealer kills at least 500 people. Each drug dealer, him or her, kills 500 people. We do nothing about it. We fine them. That's over 647,507 migrant criminals are in our country. It's a killing machine. It's a killing machine, and they're killing people all over our country. And Kamala said, remember, she said, oh, well, those people really don't kill like our criminals. No. These people make our criminals look like nice people. And I've been saying this from the beginning of the Harris-Biden disaster. It's no longer an administration, because what they've done to our country with this is inexcusable. I guess some egghead maybe said, oh, it's wonderful to release people, and it sounds so nice. We're releasing migrants into our country. But these are killers. These are people at the highest level of killing. They cut your throat, and they won't even think about it the next morning. They won't even think about it. And these people are all over the place, and they're killing people. I could go through the stories, and I won't. But all over, sometimes I do. They come up, they grab young girls, and they slice them up right in front of their parents. Nobody who's allowed to do this, and nobody who's allowed this to happen to our country is fit to be the president of the United States. I mean that too. I mean it.
He does mean that, and I mean that too. Now, he was talking to some victims, families of police officers that were recently killed by illegal migrants, and they had a meeting with him, and they thanked him for what he had done to support them and condolences, because it's a terrible thing to have happen. And I bet you Kamala Harris and Biden never made a call to these families that have had this tragedy struck them.
Show you this.
I want to thank you personally for you're the only one that actually reached out and said, gave your condolence to the family. And it actually means a lot to all of our law enforcement families that are here for the sacrifice my husband and his brothers in blue and sisters in blue have given. So I want to thank you that, and we all, every family sitting out here wants justice for what happened to their loved ones. And that's what I want for my husband.
This man over here, the same family supports him. Whatever he's doing for the law enforcement, we support him.
God bless Donald Trump. Hey, I bet the fake news won't show you this.
I want to thank you first.
Okay, so let me say hello to people that's in the chat room. Thank you for coming through and see what some of your comments are. I probably can't get to all the comments because there's probably a lot of them. I appreciate everybody for watching. Let me see. I'm going to go up and see how far it takes me up. You said Michigan is blue. Sorry. Well, atheists, Mando, there's always a chance that, you know, first time for everything, that it could switch over because of the people struggling. You never know. It's better worth the try than not trying at all. And Trump, he is the one that has to pay the cost of trying to go over there and change it. And he was willing to do that. So I support him doing that and salute him for doing that, because you say it's blue no matter what. But in his mind, he has an opportunity to still try and a duty to still try. Tammy says 7.5 billion spent on 8 EV charging stations. Thanks, Biden, Harris. 7.5 billion spent on it. Wow, that's a lot of money, Tammy. Trump got booed at the Iowa game. Are you serious, Robert? That's not good. All right, Bob says, Tammy, good for you. So did I. How does a person that went to college and actually has critical thinking skills vote against their own interests for Trump, especially after the coup d'etat? I think that Trump has our interests, Bob. I don't know why you are feeling like Trump doesn't have our best interests. He was president before. I think that people forget about that because of COVID. He was unable to do a lot more than what he could have done, but he was definitely building a wall. So that signifies that he really is the person to think about security first. And that's all that I want, is the border to be secured and some of these dangerous people to be taken off the streets, some of these gangs to be shut down, some of these drugs to be shut down. I mean, we got to make an effort to do something. To do absolutely nothing and let it stand and then add to the problem is going to make America really, really dangerous. And I don't want to see America turn into Venezuela. I don't want to see us go tank down. I really hope that y'all can see what I'm seeing. You said he freed 5,000 Taliban. What year was that? Robert says, and Vance got kicked out of a restaurant. Are you trolling? I didn't hear that story. I know that they're trying to sue them. The Haitians are trying to sue or make a claim against. Let me find that video while I'm thinking about it.
Hey, I bet the fake.
Hold on. Yes, a group in Haiti or a group in Springfield files a citizen criminal charge, not suing, but they're filing a criminal charge against Trump and Vance. I don't understand how that can be when Trump did not even mention Haitians. He says they're eating the dogs and the cats. He never specified who they were. But anyways.
Springfield, Ohio, a small town often known for its calm and quiet, has recently been rocked by an unexpected controversy, one that has captured national attention. It's the kind of place where residents often speak of neighborly bonds, local pride, and a sense of peace. However, that tranquility has been disrupted as a local Haitian American group has taken a bold step, filing criminal charges against two high-profile figures, former President Donald Trump and Senator J.D. Vance. This isn't your typical...
So they're filing charges against them. I think it's kind of a nothing burger. I think that they should have worried about maybe driving a little bit better, maybe following the laws a little bit better, maybe not bringing in any of their cultural things that do not fit and align with America. They should have had some type of class to go over with different things, especially driving, because a lot of accidents that I've been reporting on, the Haitians have been partaking in. Accidents in Springfield, accidents in Pennsylvania, accidents upon accidents upon accidents. And I don't understand how they're able to get these temporary driver's license and they take it upon themselves to drive and get a car somehow. And they ram this and they ram that. So they should be talking about what they do and how that they can make it better versus trying to attack and come for Trump.
Small town legal case. What started as local frustration has quickly evolved into a politically charged legal battle. And it's not just Springfield that's watching. This case is rapidly drawing national headlines with legal experts, political analysts.
And saying that they don't eat pets at all can be easily debunked by their own people. There are other videos where they are speaking out about the fact that at times they had to eat cat. And so, you know, it's easily debunked by their own people. Let me show you this other video. And I also think voodoo does, or they sacrifice animals. So.
I'm Haitian, and this is the truth, the whole truth.
Oops.
this whole situation that we hear circulating all over these internet streets about Haitians eating pets, eating cats. I should start off with the disclaimer that I am first generation born here in the United States of America to immigrant parents that immigrated here, both parents from Haiti. I am married to a Haitian man. I grew up hearing this same kind of thing. I know when I moved from Miami, Florida to Southwest Florida, there were Americans that used to make fun, poke fun, and say, "Hey, you guys are Haitian, you eat cats," as a joke. And for a long time, it bothered me because I was like, "What is this based on? There's no validity to it. Why are they saying this?" But then, as I got older, I started doing some research and asking questions. And I know here in the United States, pets are a very big deal. And I know one thing that is a custom in Haiti: if the animal has been named, they will not eat it because you've almost given it a human-like characteristic. And when you think of pets, you're thinking of a member of your family, so to speak. But for the Haitian culture, for very long, they were just, they call them maon. They were just wild, so to speak. These were not domesticated pets. It was just like a wild animal became victim to the situation that was at hand. And the information that I'm going to share with you is information that I was able to gather from a number of different people, but it stands between 3 generations of individuals born in Haiti. My husband being one of them, my mother being one of them, and my grandfather being one of those individuals as well, and a number of other people. But I just wanted to show you a large sample size, so to speak, if we're talking about surveying. Let me give you a little backstory first before we talk about individuals in Springfield that may or may not have been Haitians, but they were people that looked like me, and it's being said that they were Haitians that were quote unquote eating pets. I was trying not to even talk about this, but I kept getting things like this being said because I am a conservative, and a lot of times people like to say, "Oh, because you support Trump, you never find fault in anything that he does." That is not true. We have video up on our YouTube channel where we have called out things that we felt were said out of context, that were said inappropriately. So we are just honest about the information that we share regarding this, and to come out here and tell you that it's true that in Haiti there are instances where Haitians have eaten cats. Is it something that is done every single day? I would say probably not. But is it something that has been done out of necessity in many cases? Yes. And when we talk about necessity, we need to look at the backstory of how Haiti got into that situation. Outside of corrupt Haitian politicians, corrupt Haitian individuals, we have our number one staple in Haiti is rice, or was rice. At the time where the Clintons came in and they did what they did to ruin our rice production. They damaged our agriculture, kind of like what we see happening in the United States. And what they did after they ruined those small mom and pop, so to speak, farmers that were living off of this generations and generations of sending their kids to school off of the money that they would make, off of the rice that they would produce. When that was ruined, the Clintons brought in their rice. And can you guess where that rice production was coming from? None other than Arkansas, where the Clintons are from. So that's a little backstory before we get into anything else. So if I say out of necessity, there's been cases. Okay, so she's saying out of necessity, but there have also been cases of voodoo. I hope that she will say that real quick. Where individuals have, in fact, eaten cats in Haiti. Yes. This whole thing about dogs, not sure about that. So that's what bothers me, because it is a fact and it is provable by their own admittance of this fact. But you have the Haitians that are just saying they never would do that. They have never done that. And it's like, come on, you guys, it's your culture. Why would you just somehow feel shamed about your culture and just pretend like you're all brand new when you come to America? Now you want to try to come for Trump because of what he said. And he did not specify Haitians again. But here's another person that talks about eating cat, just to give you an idea that yes, this is a high probability that some of those people are doing this and they're not admitting it. They won't admit it.
So are cats to you considered, are they considered pets or are they considered food to you?
Food. They are food to me. Oh. And sometimes when I broke, I sells them. To take off my family.
Wow. So you do this because, I mean, it is a good thing to be able to take care of your family, right?
Yeah, so sometimes when I broke, like that guy, he has like like 150 cats. You have a lot of cats. So it can even buy fish like 400 Ghana cedis, 500 Ghana cedis with kinky. Always giving them food to eat. So when he broke, he can sell to me, he can sell for so that he can take off
his family and his life.
Yeah. That is what people were doing here.
And that's the thing too, because me being from the States, sometimes people are like, oh, you should never eat cats or you should never eat dogs. And it's like, you've never been in a situation where you've had to sell an animal. You go to the supermarket. I wish more people would travel and be more open and realize what you think is a pet, other people see as food. And you can't just, oh, these are bones.
Look at all those bones, y'all. Come on. Look at all those bones. Didn't even know she was right by bones. All those bones. But so why they're not being honest about, yeah, we have done that. Times are hard, but I don't think the people that are here have done that, but you can't speak for 20,000 of them. And they're calling themselves speaking for all of them, knowing that they have not done anything. Saying that they have not done anything, but they don't really know. In other words, they can't know. But they want to put the spotlight onto Trump and not be held accountable for, driving reckless and possibly stealing geese at the park. Other people have said that their cats have been missing, a whole slew of them. So there ain't no telling how deep the rabbit hole goes as far as what they have actually done in Springfield. But again, any opportunity to make Trump be the boogeyman, people are taking that opportunity to do that. And so, if these people didn't like what's going on in America, they can always go back to Haiti. And of course, they would never do that. So they're scapegoating Trump.
With legal experts, political analysts, and the public eagerly following each new development, what prompted this group to take such an extraordinary step? What are the charges, and why are Trump and Vance at the center of this storm? In a town known for its peacefulness, this controversy has ignited a fiery debate, forcing everyone, from city council members to national political figures, to weigh in. Buckle up, because the story behind this is filled with legal twists, political implications, and a fight for justice that could have ramifications far beyond Springfield's borders. But first, let's unpack the story that's turning heads across the country. At the heart of this legal drama is a Haitian-American group that's claiming former President Trump and Ohio Senator G.D. Vance have committed serious offenses. The charges being filed fall under a little-known legal avenue called citizen criminal complaints, a process that allows private citizens to initiate criminal proceedings. While these complaints are rare, the stakes could not be higher. The complaints allege that both Trump and Vance engaged in inflammatory rhetoric and policies that specifically harmed the Haitian American community. The Haitian group claims that the two figures violated their civil rights through targeted policies that incited violence, hatred, and racial tensions. They're accusing Trump and Vance.
Using any opportunity to make this about them, and the fact that they came over here willfully. They were inspired to come over here by Biden and Kamala. And now they want to twist it around because of what a little comment saying they're eating the cats and the dogs. Well, he did not say Haitians are eating the cats and the dogs. So I don't really know how much of a claim they're going to really have, but they're going to try as best they can. And I really don't think that Trump should get all this type of negative attention, because it's just an inconvenience to me what they're going through for the sake of being over here. Again, they brought a lot of attention with the way that they drive and the fact that they've been given so much money and opportunity and getting people evicted from their homes and replacing them with the Haitians. It's been kind of very disrespectful what these people in Springfield have done to the locals. So there is a lot of tension, and there is, the people are speaking up about it, and people are calling them racist and whatnot. but people are upset because of all these changes so quickly, and their population has been like 20,000 added, just jumped onto them in their economies. So their resources are drying up. And of course, the locals are not happy. I think that is the inconvenience of all the things that the Haitians have caused the people. They should really pipe down and like not come for Trump. We really don't need this attention onto Trump. He needs to get in the office and fix the border. First and foremost, he needs to get these illegals that are here dangerous up out of the country. And he is the only one that's running that's going to actually do that.
Of criminal negligence and incitement, asserting that their words and actions contributed to a broader climate of discrimination and harm against immigrants and communities of color. Former President Trump has long been...
I just find it amazing how they're able to use our talk, our civil rights talks, attach themselves to rights that they wouldn't have if they weren't here, but they have come, and they have come to avoid the tragedies that's going on in Haiti. It's just really funny how they're able to utilize the rights and civil rights of my people towards their supposed civil rights violations, but they wouldn't have any violations if they weren't here, if they would go back to Haiti, where they're from, and they will never, ever decide to do such a thought.
For his hardline stance on immigration, particularly during his tenure, when he implemented policies that many felt were unjust toward Haitian and other immigrant groups. From the shithole country's comment to the termination of temporary protected status for...
And aren't their countries shitholes? I mean, they don't want to be there. It's not a nice area to be. That's why they're taking all the risk and all the gamble to make their way to America, because it's not a suitable environment. So it is a shithole. I mean, maybe you don't like the rhetoric or the terminology that Trump has used, but he hasn't been far off. He hasn't been far off at all. That's why so many thousands upon millions of people are flooding and coming over here and putting us at danger. And that's just the reality of it all. So all this marching and all this supposed we've been harmed and everything, there has not been no killings, no violence, none of that in Springfield that I have heard yet. So I don't understand why they're making it seem like it's been to that level. They're pretty much biting off more than they can chew, in my opinion. But again, this is an opportunity to make it about them instead of about our country. And it should be about our country. It should not be about them specifically.
Thousands of Haitian immigrants. His legacy is controversial, to say the least. Senator Vance, on the other hand, has also been under fire for his vocal support of policies that some critics argue further marginalize vulnerable communities. Vance has stood by Trump's platform and has echoed similar sentiments regarding immigration. So why Springfield? For many in the local...
Illegal immigration and flooding the country as a whole is not racist rhetoric. It's a problem. It's problematic. Other places are having issues. UK is having issues with immigration. All other places around the globe are having issues with immigration. So we're not the only ones. So to make it seem like they're just making up stuff as they go, when they really are racist and they don't want to have anybody over here. They want to have a process is what they want to have. They want to have the legal process like it has been before, not no quick, fast, in a hurry type of process to get people over here temporarily and then make them permanent over here when you meant to make them permanent to begin with. So it's debatable on why and how the Haitians came to be in Springfield. It's not as cut and dry as that they're trying to make it seem here.
Haitian community, these national policies hit home in a very real way. The small yet vibrant Haitian population here has been personally affected by the policies coming out of Washington, with many community members relying on TPS and others facing deportation. The stakes are deeply personal. These charges aren't just about making headlines. They're about survival, dignity, and the fight for justice. In filing,
It's about them bum rushing. It's about them trying to make it about them. Again, we have bigger fish to fry. You're not the only issue that's involved here in America. We have other illegals that are here that need to be dealt with. This issue should not be about Haitians, in my opinion. But that's my opinion. You guys can hold your own. Again, there has not been no unaliving. There has not been no violence reported. So all of this extra, to me, is too much.
these criminal complaints, the group is invoking a powerful message. Local voices can demand accountability from even the most powerful political figures in the country. They're saying that the impact of harmful policies doesn't end in Washington. It trickles down into every town, affecting real lives and real families. But can a case like this hold up in court?
I don't know if it can hold up in court, but I think it's ridiculous. I think that the Haitians should count their blessings. Again, if they were in Haiti, they would not be having a good time right now. And it's better to be where you are than where you were. Again, Trump's for American first. And if you as Haitians can't understand that mindset of being American first, that means that maybe you should not be here, because we need a president that's about America business, about American citizens, about all our issues that we're having that needs to be resolved. And if you are in the way of that, then the door is always there for you to go to. That's the bottom line. So I'm glad that I'm Black, because you guys can't say I'm racist. I'm just speaking the truth. And that helps, because if I was white sitting up here saying that, all of a sudden I'm racist and all that. But I'm sure there's going to be some people talking about exotic phobic talk or rhetoric or whatever like that, divisive and all that. No, get out of here. It's right is right and wrong is wrong. Bryce says, I would love to see anyone from here try to walk across the border into Mexico. Let me know how it works out for you. Skip says, and I'm a Trump supporter. I'm glad to hear that. KB says, it is true about the cats, disgusting as it is. Vote Trump 2024. It is true. And if they were just honest and said, I don't know if anyone in Springfield has done anything like that. I personally have not done that. But we do have a culture where that is, let us talk to our people about not doing that. Let's assemble together and get some type of meeting and talk about all these things that maybe we can correct ourselves on doing. And also the driving issue is a real big problem. They should be talking about setting up a class to learn how to properly drive so that they don't continue to have all these crashes that they're having. That's what they should take accountability to correct the wrongs in which they have done, instead of trying to make it be about woe is us. Like, woe is y'all in Haiti. Remember? That's where the woe is at. And like I said, if they don't like it, Sheena, like you said, send them back. They can go back home. It's always the opportunity to go back home. They don't have to be here. They don't have to pretend to be a victim here and capitalize off of being a fake victim. No one's victimized you. Ain't nobody unalived any of you. Nobody put their hands on you. So what are you a victim of? You're a victim of someone just speaking their heart out, hearing from the residents that they are missing cats, and they believe that these things are happening. Maybe it's not on video, but the probability of it happening is a reality that it could have happened. You said, I am a resident of Springfield, Ohio. My car has been missing for 15 days. Oh, wow. I'm sorry to hear that. Meme, therefore I am. I hope that it comes back. You said your cat. The residents are not lying. We have been missing our ducks in the river. I believe you. I really believe you. And, it's just not an easy way to broach this conversation, because, again, if I was not Black, I would be hurled, racist, you're a racist, you don't like other people and all. No, right is right and wrong is wrong. Sheena says, I bet the Haitians will get a hate crime specifically for them. You know what? If that happens, that's going to be really foul. That's going to be really foul because we've been trying our best to get one and we haven't gotten one ourselves. And that just later, exposes the fact that we are not on the right track as Americans as well, because we don't have the right leaders in place to have something happen for us for real. And Kamala's not going to help us. Danny says, who did he mean if he didn't say Haitians? There are other people that's there besides Haitians, Danny. They're not the only immigrants that are over there. So whomever has entered into Springfield, whoever they are, because the rumors are cats are missing and being ate. So whoever you are that are doing that, it could include Haitians, but other people as well. So whoever you are out there, he did not say Haitians. So Bert says that's the fault of the slumlords. Pinky says the Haitians should sue the news outlet that said that before Trump. Yeah, the news outlet said it, and the people were saying it at the council meetings. They were talking about their cats. And other people on the streets that have been interviewed were talking about missing cats. And they also talked about a white van, that was spotted with a Haitian with a whole lot of cats in the van one time. So these rumors were before this incident had happened with Trump. It just happened to be magnified with Trump. So Ozzy says it's Trump or communism. Those are your choices. Exactly, Ozzy. The news outlets never said that till Trump said it. Well, they inferred Haitians. They put that out there to say specifics. He was just saying immigrants as a whole. He didn't specify. So, yes, and the woman who started the false post about it. Yeah, there was a woman that started a false post. But there was more than one person that have said it. Sky D. Vance had said that, JD Vance had said that there were a number of people that were making complaints about their animals, including the geese. Danny says, why, Pinky, was the news organization wrong for saying it? And if so, was Trump wrong for saying it? I don't think that it was wrong to say, oh, by the way, there are complaints about cats missing. And they're speculating that rumors are that some of them might have been dealt with somehow because they're gone. He could have said it was a rumor, maybe that would have made it sound better, but they're eating the dogs and cats. That's what he said. That's all he said. So you live in Springfield, or are you? No, I don't live in Springfield. That's BS. People of color. I know people of color using the language to tie themselves to us and get advancements over us. Again, using this opportunity to make this about them and not about our country as a whole. And they are not about our country as a whole. They're about themselves and taking and getting what they can get. And that is the issue that we have, or I'm having, with migrants. Their mentality is not about American first because they're trying to take and get theirs. So how can they be about American first? I'm American first. I need a president that's American first. And that's Trump. That is not Kamala Harris. And we're going to get into her speech because she posed at the border. And we're going to listen to what she had to say, but I'm going to go over some more comments. You said, that's a damn lie, Bert. I heard it through news before I ever heard Trump say it, Bryce said. Danny says, so they shouldn't have the same rights is what you're saying, Danny. They're not citizens here. They made a choice to come over here, Danny, and they can have the opportunity, I'm sure, to go back if that's what they want to do. Them having better rights than us, over us, them not abiding by driver laws and causing accidents and able to just leave the scene should not be allowed. But somehow they are kind of immune to different things that we're not immune to. And that's not fair. So they're actually getting better rights over the citizens of America, and that's not good. Trump was wrong for repeating it. Yes, Bryce says. I don't know if he was wrong though, because if that's the first thing that people are saying, obviously it must be a problem, Bryce. If that's the first thing, and all these people are coming around saying the same thing, our pets are missing. This is the geese are coming up missing. Cats are coming up missing. We had like 40, 50 cats straying around here, and then all of a sudden we're down to 4. That might be a big issue and something that you would notice more than anything. So I probably would mention it too. Like, hey, we had about 50 stray cats, and now I only see about 3 or 4. We have missing cats. People are around here eating them. Where'd they go? Bert says, Bryce, I never heard or read it until Vance and Trump said it. Sheena says, well, I have heard, like I said, they do their voodoo. They sacrifice animals, I have heard. And I have heard that rumor that they eat cats. I just never looked it up before until recently. Sheena says they should have the same rights in their own homeland. Exactly. They can go back home. But they're not doing that. They don't want to struggle to fix what's going on over there. They want us to be worried about their issue. Pinky says, why are they going after Trump? He heard it just like we did from the news. Well, I think J.D. Vance have heard it from the people personally, and he passed the message over to Trump probably. More than likely, that's what happened. He probably mentioned it in passing when they were talking about it. Like, yeah, there's a rumor that the cats are coming up missing. They might be eating them over there. Bryce says, okay, so that doesn't mean it's not true. Exactly. It doesn't mean it's not true. Just because they didn't find a video doesn't mean it's not true. Danny says, should they have the same rights once they are here legally? Of course. Of course. Bert says, Vance even said he made it up. I never heard that part, him saying he made it up. Q, that's debatable that they are here legally. There's something that Kamala had did to make that so-called TPS, is it called? Temporary protective, whatever it's called. But it's temporary, supposed to be. But the way that they're moving, they're not making it temporary. Pinky says, how about they earn their rights? Stop tethering to people that earned theirs. Bingo. So Bryce says, no, Vance didn't say that. He made it up. Show me where he said that. I want to see that too. I never seen that. Q says Springfield actually needed migrant because the local economy is struggling. Well, shouldn't they have asked the people first if they wanted any of the jobs? They cut them out of that, and they made it specified to the Haitians only. Again, and bringing strain and stress to the locals by going to the welfare office as well, capitalizing off of that and keeping the locals unable for them to get in and get services. Ozzy says they are not here legally just because Kami LA signed a piece of paper. Yeah, she signed something real quick and made things change. She brought that on herself. She is the one that orchestrated that whole thing in Springfield alongside the mayor, the governor, all the people that are making money off of the Haitians going over there. But again, causing strain and strife to the people. How would you have them earn their rights? It's a process. It's supposed to be the same process as the other people have went through themselves, Danny. The same process as the other people have went through before. Why would they have a fast track way to get in over the other people that have went through the same old process that's already been in place? Bert says, look it up. He had an interview where he said he'll make up stories to get attention. Oh, come on, Bert. I don't think he said that. Q says, a lie, don't care who tells it. Yeah, I've heard that before. The photo booth chick, it's not too late. Trump should have signed the bill. Again, there was adjectives that should not have been signed up for. And he, in that bill that you're talking about, wasn't it Kamala able to sign on for that? Couldn't she have done something instead while she was vice president? Wasn't she the czar at the border? So why is she not held to some type of standard? Why is everybody letting her off the hook? Because she's a woman? I don't understand. So she was just sitting pretty as a vice president and not required to do anything the whole duration of 4 years? Bryce says, but that's not saying he made that story up. Danny says, so once we're here legally, how would you have these rights earned without being against the Constitution? Like I said, Danny, what's wrong with the process that's already in place? So many other people have followed the process and become legalized and get their green cards or whatever they had to do. I don't know the specifics of the process because I'm not a migrant or an immigrant, so I don't know the process. But whatever other people have done in times past, they too should have done the same thing and not skip over any process to get anything that's over what other people had to do. Yes, it's Bryce. He said he made it up. Okay. We have immigrants here and they are flooding the streets, but it's not a big issue. Why is it not a big issue? Do you know any of those immigrants? You can't know them. They came here unvetted. It's not too late. Okay. This is about our country, not Haitians. That's what I'm saying. When you take the attention off of the country and you put it on a people that don't even have to be here, that just came over here, bogarted their way over here by the help of Biden and Harris, I'm not going to give up the attention on our country and give it to the Haitians. That doesn't make sense. They can leave, like I said. Sheena says, send them home. It's not their right to be in the U.S. The photo booth chick says, you right. Bryce says, I watched a woman on cop's body cam caught eating a cat before. Yeah, that was in Canton. You said, I heard it come out of Trump's mouth. Before I heard it come out of Trump's mouth. Okay, but that incident was in Canton, Ohio. No incidents as far as a cat and dog has been seen on a video, but just the rumors of it and cats missing and geese gone. Pinky says a news outlet did say that about the woman eating a cat. I watched it the day before the debate and watched the woman being arrested. Yeah, that was in Canton. You said all of them, Danny. Sheena says, how many should we send them home? She says all of them, Danny. She wants all of them gone. Go check it out, Bert. Okay, you guys are going back and forth over the same thing. So now I think I'm going to start off with now Kamala Harris and her little speech that she gave. Again, she posed at the border. Let me find this video. And now she's giving a speech about her remarks at the border from looking at the border. But again, it's all for show. She has not been concerned about the border this whole entire time. And suddenly now she's bringing attention to the border. Okay, let me see.
To set rules at our border and to enforce them. And I take that responsibility. Before I begin, I do want to say a few words about Hurricane Helene. I spoke this morning with our FEMA administrator, Chris Well, and President Biden and I, of course, will continue to monitor the situation closely. We have mobilized more than 1,500 federal personnel to support those communities that have been impacted. We have food, water, and generators that are ready for deployment. And we are working to restore power for millions of people who currently are experiencing outages. And I just want to stress, and for the press that is here, to those who are watching, the storm continues to be dangerous and deadly, and lives have been lost, and the risk of flooding still remains high. So I continue to urge everyone to please continue to follow guidance from your local officials until we get past this moment. So thank you all. And now I'll speak about, in particular, the people who are here today and why we are gathered here together today. So Arizona, I think you all know, and this is why you are here, there are consequential issues at stake in this election. And one is the security of our border. The United States is a sovereign nation. And I believe we have a duty to set rules at our border and to enforce them. And I take that responsibility very seriously.
She has never taken the role as a border czar seriously. So now she's talking as if she will finally do something about the border. I'm not buying what she's selling, though.
Also a nation of immigrants. The United States has been enriched by generations of people who have come from every corner of the world to contribute to our country and to become part of the American story. And so we must reform our immigration system to ensure that it works in an orderly way, that it is humane, and that it makes our country stronger.
So her way is to let them all become legal so they can have the numbers for votes. That's what they want to do this for. That's what I feel is really effed up in regards to Kamala Harris, that they would go this far to get the numbers for voters so that they can stay in power. And we cannot allow that to be. Please vote for Trump.
So I've just come from visiting the border and the port of entry in Douglas. I spoke with dedicated agents from Border Patrol and customs officers who every day see the overflow of commercial traffic through the port. These men and women who work there and at other places along our southern border help keep our nation secure. And they need more resources to do their jobs, which is why we have and are in the process of investing $500 million to modernize and expand the port of entry here in Douglas. And why last December I helped raise the rate of overtime pay for border agents, and also why I strongly supported the comprehensive border security bill. Written last year, as you know, by a bipartisan group of senators, including one of the most conservative members of the United States Congress. That bill would have hired 1,500 more border agents and officers. It would have paid for 100 inspection machines to detect fentanyl that is killing tens of thousands of Americans every year. It would have allowed us to more quickly and effectively remove those who come here illegally, and it would have increased the number of
illegally to make them legal. So what difference does it make? She wants to make all of them legal. All of them that have come over here illegally, that she has helped them come over here illegally alongside of Biden. She's planning on making them all legal. So what does it matter to her that they are illegal? She doesn't care. That's her goal, is to get them all to come. Get them all to become nationalized or made into Americans, just like that. Unvetted, unknown, unnothing. And she's sitting up here acting and posing as if she did something really or will be doing something really, really superior to what Trump's going to do. I'm not buying what she's selling.
Immigration judges and asylum officers. It was the strongest border security bill we have seen in decades. It was endorsed by the Border Patrol Union.
The best part about Russell Stover sugar-free candies, it's the sweetness you crave.
It was endorsed by the Border Patrol Union. And it should be in effect today, producing results in real time right now for our country. But Donald Trump tanked it. He picked up the phone and called some friends in Congress and said, stop the bill. Because you see, he prefers to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem.
I think we heard this stump speech before. She's saying the same thing that she said before, but it does not matter because she's been the border czar. And Biden has done things that allow the illegals to feel inspired to come over here. They decided to fly them over, to bus them over, to put them in hotels and motels and all of that. This was what they wanted to do, and they're pretending like they never had nothing to do with any of it. She's lying. She is a liar down to who she is.
And the American people deserve a president who cares more about border security than playing political games and their personal political future.
No, she was doing that when she was posing at the border. Let's look at her come to the border before she continues. This is her posing and pretending like she's really for border security. Again, she had all this time. She could have did something. No, she helped and enabled the people to come. Now she's playing dumb.
The last time Vice President Kamala Harris was on the border with Mexico was June 2021 in El Paso. Masks were still required to slow the spread of COVID. Harris was never in charge of border security, but President Biden did task her with addressing the root causes of migration.
I want to be clear to folks in this region who are thinking about making that dangerous trek to the United States-Mexico border. Do not come. Do not come.
That warning, delivered in Guatemala, did not immediately slow the flow of migrants. 3 years later, Harris is the candidate for president, making her second ever trip to the border. And her opponent, former President Donald Trump,
But Kamala should have closed the border years ago.
is highly critical.
When Kamala speaks about the border, her credibility is less than zero. I hope you're going to remember that on Friday when she tells you about the border. Ask her just one simple question. Why didn't you do it 4 years ago?
But Harris blames Trump for derailing the bipartisan border bill she supported.
What we have in the former president is someone who would prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem.
Border crossings have since significantly dropped after President Biden made sweeping changes to asylum policy through executive order, though it's not possible to know if that's the reason for the slowdown. Polls consistently show that voters see Trump as the candidate best suited to handle immigration, and sources inside Harris's campaign tell ABC News they hope this border visit might close that gap. Cynthia? All right, Teresa, thank you.
So in other words, she's a poser. She doesn't know what the hell she's doing other than posing. Trying to look the part. Oh, I came to the border. Oh, I really give a damn about all these people that's over here now. Oh, by the way, we can make them legal. We can make them citizens. We can get those numbers. We can scratch out all the other people that usually vote Democratic, black, hint, hint. And we can cancel out their vote by replacing them with the replacement vote, hint, hint. That's what they're doing.
And so even though Donald Trump tried to sabotage the border security bill, it is my pledge to you that as President of the United States, I will bring it back up and proudly sign it into law. And let me say, the issue of border security is not a new issue to me. I was Attorney General of a border state for 2 terms. I saw the violence and chaos that transnational criminal organizations cause, and the heartbreak and loss from the spread of their illicit drugs. I walked through tunnels that traffickers used to smuggle contraband into the United States. I've seen tunnels with walls as smooth as the walls of your living room, complete with lighting and air conditioning, making very clear that it is about an enterprise that is making a whole lot of money in the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings. And my knowledge on how they work comes from the fact that I have prosecuted transnational criminal organizations who traffic in guns, drugs, and human beings. My team and I broke up a heroin trafficking ring in the Bay Area with ties to Mexican cartels. We took down a gang working with the Sinaloa cartel to traffic methamphetamine into the United States. We seized millions of dollars worth of cocaine from the Guadalajara cartel and broke up a drug trafficking operation, including pill mills and so-called recovery centers that were pushing opioids with deadly results. As Attorney General of California, it was 10 years ago that I brought a bipartisan group of American attorneys general and led that group to travel to Mexico City to meet with Mexican attorneys general to address this issue, and in particular to increase intelligence sharing on gang activity, all of which allowed us to prosecute more human traffickers. And I started, as Attorney General, the first comprehensive report in the state of California, analyzing transnational criminal organizations and the threats they pose to public safety and to the economy. So stopping transnational criminal organizations and strengthening our border is not new to me, and it is a long-standing priority of mine. I have done that work, and I will continue to treat it as a priority.
Oh, no, it won't be treated as a priority. Nice try, but it doesn't fly. I hope that you guys can see through this woman, because I can see through her, and she is not honestly enough telling us what she really is going to do. All we know is that she's going to make a pathway to a lot of these people coming up over here. That's all the take that I get. As far as her securing the border, again, she had all this opportunity, and she still has an opportunity, but she's not going to do anything until you guys elect her, and then you have to wait and see what exactly she's going to do. And I don't want us to be bamboozled enough to trust in what her words are, just like Obama did the same thing. He had a lot of words about what he was going to do. He said a lot of stuff that he was supposedly going to do. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. And he did nothing for the Black community. He did nothing for American folks. He did everything for gay rights and every other situation he did for. And that's the same thing that Kamala Harris is going to do, the same exact thing. She's not going to put an emphasis on the border because, again, they want the numbers. They don't care how dangerous they make America. She's not going to be affected by it in her mind. Only the people that have to live in the cities, among the illegals, wherever they are, they'll have to deal with that and the crime, the escalating of crime. And now we have Chicago battling for turf against the Venezuelan gang over there. It's a mess what's going on in America right now. And you can blame, in my opinion, Kamala Harris and Biden. Again, they have flown people in. The Haitians talked about in this video clip of Anton Daniels had mentioned how they were just flown in to the United States and made a way carved out a spot for them, carved out monies for them, carved out houses and cars for them, and all that kind of stuff.
I like to speak for myself. As I told you the other day, I got my paperwork. I got everything. They saying that we're illegal or something. I got everything. So I don't know. Maybe some of us, some immigrants are illegal or something, but I don't know. But me, I am legal. But they be calling us alien. It's like, it sounds like we come from another planet or something like that. I don't know, illegal aliens, the former President Trump said it. The vice president said it too. I don't know, man. If they want proof, I can't pull it out legal or something because I got all my papers.
How have you been treated here?
It depends. I stay on my lane. I'm not my business. I just wake up, go to work, get back home, and that's it.
You're just trying to come, make a good living, and then save up money and go home.
Yeah, because I'm only here for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So what he's basically explaining is this humanitarian parole program that allows for the Biden administration and the federal government to have them fly over here. And it's under the assumption that initially they're only going to be here for 2 years, and then they're going to voluntarily go back home. So this is extended to Cuba.
But we know doggone well that when 2 years are up, they're going to extend that, or by then they're going to make them permanently citizens. And this is what I feel like the Biden or Harris will want to do with her administration, is have all these people that she's allowed in to become permanent citizens and become made Americanized, jumping over everybody else's process. And they just kind of like cut in front of the line. Everything about Harris and what she's talking about at the border is just all sham. Her goal is to fill as many people as she can in America, again, for the benefit of the Democrats.
Venezuelans, Haitians, and it's another Nicaragua, all right? And so what they're basically doing, in addition to what's happening at the border, for the border crisis, you also have this humanitarian program that basically leaves it up to the discretion of the Biden administration and the Homeland Security to allow as many people as they want to. So when you see, because this is a small town inside of Pennsylvania where he's basically interviewing a Haitian migrant, and shout out to Nick Johnson. I'm definitely going to be putting a link back to his YouTube channel in the description, because I always like to give credit to the content creators. And make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description, and come and kick it with me in Atlanta on November 2nd before the election day, and come and kick it with me over in December in Detroit, and then we gonna have a conversation and have a Patreon meetup around that. Link is in the description for you to get your tickets. Put Anton in the discount code, and you'll get some monies off of that. But this is a Haitian migrant, and what he's basically explaining is a program that allows for him to technically legally be over here because they're authorized by the Biden administration, and this was put into place in the beginning of 2023. I did a video where I basically broke it down. I broke it down on the Millionaire Morning Show, and I broke it down here. But this allows for people that would be illegal to be legal here for the span of 2 years, under the assumption that they're going to go back to their country after they make as much money as they possibly can, and or seek legal status afterwards. So the border crisis is not just at the borders as far as them coming over and crossing over here. It's also in the air. They're legally here by authorization of the Biden administration, which includes Kamala Harris, but that's not a question that people are asking her in her interviews. But let me let him kick it, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to break down and give you my thoughts.
It's a 2-year program.
A lot of people, you said a lot on that Facebook post about how unfair it was, about all the stuff that's going on. Can you explain to me that?
This stuff that's going on online. Like if I be walking on the street, I don't feel threatened or something like that, but on the internet, they be saying all kind of stuff, all kind of stupid stuff. So, because I watched a lot of videos about the situation right after the presidential debate, when President Trump came up with the dog, cat, and stuff. It's just not fair to me, because that's a lot. It's just a lot. And they be saying we buying cars, we get like excessive amount of money on food stamps, expensive. It's just a lot. We don't get that much.
They're able to finance cars straight from another country with no credit at all. They're able to finance cars, and I don't know what the interest rates are on those cars, but they are getting fairly nice cars with no credit while veterans are on the street, people are homeless, and people are getting evicted and thrown out of their homes, and they're being shipped to these small towns like in Ohio and Pennsylvania that's in these swing states, and they're expecting for us to not to be able to pay attention and saying, hey, this is what's happening. And yes, any amount of money that they give in a while, you'll have problems getting any assistance whatsoever, but you paid into the system. Now remember, this is your tax dollars. This is your tax dollars.
Of course we get.
And the amount that you get depends on what state you're in. So if you're in New York, you get a different amount. If you're in Chicago, you get a different amount. If you're in some small town in Pennsylvania or Ohio, you get a different amount. So it depends, and it depends on your size of your family, what hotel you stay in, all that stuff, bro.
Government assistance like food stamp, I did it. $291 a month and $195 cash. And I watched the video. I think you did this interview with that girl. She was talking about we getting like 29,000 on EBT cash. And I'd be laughing at that. If I had $29,000 right now, I would go back to my country. Yeah. They saying we're buying like expensive cars, like brand new cars. This is my car right here.
The white one?
No.
The Altima?
The Altima.
Okay.
It's a 20.
But are there people here that are getting a lot of money, Haitian people? Because a lot of people say they see them driving around in nice cars, nice clothes. Is that over?
I can't get a car here, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's credit. Even with a bad or no credit, you can still buy a car. Yeah, you're just going to get high interest. I got high interest on that. And it's overpriced.
How do you even get a car as a migrant that hasn't even been into the country but a hot second?
Yeah. Considering the high mileage on it, the year, it's overpriced. So what they talking about?
You went to New York. You didn't come across the border like a lot of people in town did, right? A lot of people here came across the Mexico border, and they ended up on buses here. That's what people in town say?
I don't know too much about that.
You don't know how a lot of people got here?
I know about the border crisis and something like that. But I jumped on a plane from Haiti, landed in New York.
Paid for your own ticket?
Yeah.
Landed, got sponsored by your cousin, ended up here, and you're working, paying taxes.
Yeah.
So it seems like you're doing things correctly. From my point of view, you're doing things...
I think all of us do.
Okay. Because there's a lot of people that say that there's a lot that come over the border, that don't check in, that don't pay taxes. But it seems like you are doing that. I guess that's what I'm saying.
I don't think that's true. I just can't believe the people, they underestimate their government like that. It's not like they just...
We definitely underestimate our government. A lot of us that wasn't even familiar with what was going on, but we know. Some of us know. Others of us,
open the border.
Oh, it's open. Yeah, it is. Actually, there's a lot of people coming here.
Yeah, but I don't think they're here legally.
Okay.
Well, I don't think so.
Okay. Now, we do have a huge crisis at our border, but you didn't come that way.
But that's not his concern. You know, he doesn't care about what happens to America because he's trying to make a way for himself. And that's what immigrants are here to do, is take advantage, take, whether it's illegal or not. But as you can tell, they're open for having these types of programs for different people to come over here, whether or not the capacity is too small for them to have all this extra unvetted. Well, he's vetted, but other folks that are not actually vetted are still encouraged to come as well. And that's why we have a crisis that we're having at the border. And so Kamala talking about being tough on the border, I'm not buying what she's selling again. It's a little bit too late for her to try to pretend like she's tough, because she hasn't been tough. And she can blame Trump all she wants, but it doesn't really fit the narrative of what she has done in the duration of time that she's been in office. And she's been making it a point to bring in people and have people come over. So what are we talking about? Again, let's get back to her. Well, you know what? I should go to the chat room real quick. Let me go to the chat room before I go back to her bogus little conversation that she's posing and whatnot. Let me see. Yes, please hit the like and share. What's up, Monique? How are you doing? Tell us you're a communist without telling us you're a communist, Ozzy says to Bert. Okay. What's up, African Goddess? Thank you for coming through. Pinky says the Haitians in that town are mucking it up for the residents. Don't want them there. Watch the whole video. Yeah, they definitely don't want them there for the most part. You might have a few people that say they don't mind that are in church, but for the most part, you know, they don't want them there. Just the people that's benefiting off of them want them there. Brandon, I guess, says if we have the American militias will come together and do what the government won't. Most of our militiamen are made of ex-military and current, as well as law enforcement in every other field. Okay, thank you for that information. You said this guy's English is too clear. He's a liar. I believe he's Haitian. He's definitely not a Black American. So he spilled the beans, though, didn't he? He spilled the beans. Randy says 13,000 plus unalivers and 16,000 sex offenders should not have been allowed in, regardless of their often fake asylum status. Yeah, having those many people that did all those crimes and they're just floating about somewhere out there, anywhere to get at any of us. Pinky says, why is that young man living in America when his country is in armed conflict? People don't want to really get down like that, Pinky. People don't really want to get down. Ain't no telling how long that situation in Haiti is going to be going on for, and how many more other Haitians will be coming over here. I don't see anything happening over there in Haiti. I haven't heard any news, but I will do any report when something transpires over there. I mean, barbecue is still alive, and I'm not sure if the police that have come over there from Kenya and the other places are, you know, not getting killed, but it seems like it's a standoff so far. But, you know, it would be interesting to know how are the other people of Haiti are living right now. But again, they're making their way over here. So, and no other country takes them in. Jamaica doesn't take them in. The Dominican Republic doesn't take them in. Just America. And we're going to have the biggest issue when we have the shit hit the fan. It's just going to be a crazy, chaotic time. And we really have to vote Trump in to try to get some of the crazier dangerous elements out of America. Like, we should not be wanting them to stay here. And I don't think Kamala is going to do anything about getting any of those people out of here. American men, you won't be able to flee to another country if we go to war, Pinky says. Whatever happens here, civil-wise and otherwise, they'll all be caught up in that situation then. And we don't want to see a situation where people just lose it. I think this election might pose a danger for the temperament of how people are feeling right now. Like, we really are needing to get a strong leader, but it seems as if the media is trying to make it seem like Harris is winning. Well, I don't think she's winning at all. I don't think she's as popular as people are trying to make her seem. It's all an act by the media. Brandon says, Pinky, I will gladly die on this soil, regardless of what I face. No force on earth could get me to flee this country. I heard that. African Goddess says, good point. Humanitarian respite should be for women and children. You can read 2 languages. How can you read in? I don't know what you mean. Okay, the visitor, Afro Goddess, says, I was thinking the same thing. He didn't have an accent to be here for 2 years or less. I can still hear his accent, though. He just seems like he's been studying up on English for a while. Maybe every night he probably reads or studies it. Who knows? Brandon says, how can you read in? You sure you got English down before you go in to brag about it? All right. Andrew, Tammy, you do realize you're saying that from the anti-women's rights, anti-gay rights, anti-trans rights, anti-immigration rights, etc. side. That's the side I'm on. But I believe in women's rights, though I'm not going to say anti-women rights, but anti, like, gay policy rights to children and kids. I think anti-illegal rights I'm against. And, of course, women's rights, I think that we have the most women's rights of all. So I really don't understand the arguments stating that women's rights are up for threat in any kind of way, especially since Trump has said that he's for a woman losing her life, abortion. Again, if she's had incest or been raped, he is for abortion in those 3 instances. And that's more than what you can say about other countries that's around the globe. They don't have the option for women. So I don't understand why people are trying to make the women's rights such an extreme situation when we're not really dealing with all that, in my opinion. Bert says, Brandon, just give it up. This colored person is smarter than you will ever be. Okay. All right, let me see. You said, and seniors and disabled, also the families of the military band, police should be first. Exactly, Pinky. Okay. Brandon says, why are you so upset? Would it help to know I'm learning Arabic and Japanese? Okay, grow up, honey. You guys are on one. You said, what people don't understand, these people have a work permit and a social security card. They work. Bia Morin says, I understand that they have it set up in a system that she has fast-tracked for the Haitians to be able to come over here and do what they're doing. She has authorized and orchestrated all of this. That's what Kamala Harris is wanting to have happen, more of the same. even with the illegals. She doesn't want them to be dreamers anymore. She doesn't want them to be known as being illegals anymore. She wants them to all to be legalized so that they can have all the power and all those numbers of all those people that they let in, knowing that they're going to vote to keep Democrats in. Y'all should look up gun deaths per capita by state, Andre says. Sheena says, do I need to renounce my citizenship and come in as an illegal to get these benefits? Ooh, I don't think you could do that. I think that you would be deported somewhere, but where? If you renounce your citizenship. I wonder if people are renouncing their citizenship, if they are told that they have to leave America. I really haven't heard of a story of that. Do you guys know if you renounce your citizenship, if you have to leave America? Andre thinks going bottom up is doing something for gay rights, Brandon says. The visitor says, do you see Americans being elected into other countries' governments? No. African Goddess says you cannot blame people from low-income countries to try to make a better life for themselves. The responsibility of whether they enter or stay is with the U.S. government. It is the fault of the U.S. government. That's why you have to blame Kamala. I always say her name. I can't say calm with her. I don't see anything calming about her. That's why I keep messing up her name. Andrew says, Brandon, it was a joke, brother. I actually support them. You don't have to donate. You don't have to give anything, but going against hate is what I do. It's just sad. What is hateful, Andrew? What have you heard that's hateful? Wanting to manage what's going on in our country, not have unvetted men to be all over the place, and have, just dysfunction with allowing people to come through and not follow the laws of what is established in the country. People that have an issue with that, you think that they are hateful? Eclad says, we have never expected a VP to do anything up until it's a black woman. Is that what you think? You said, I watched this video about this guy done by a white guy. Most PA people are changing now that I will know. What? Done by a white guy? What do you mean by done by? Brandon says it's more along the lines of one of the vice president runs for president in the middle of a sitting president term that we expect things of them. Interesting. Yeah, that sounds very interesting. Yes, Andrew, if you go look at the poorest states, most of them are red and all of them are dominated by a blue city, Brandon says. Okay, let's get back now to Kamala. I just have a hard time listening to her, to be honest with y'all. I have been trying to wait a while to get back to her because I just think that she's talking a load of crap. And speaking of which, Candace Owens is looking up her background, and we're going to find out if she really has any black people in her family. We really going to find out. I really still don't believe she has anybody black in her family. I think she's just totally Indian and white. I think she's a poser, and I hope to goodness that Candace catches her. Her grandma is in question as to whether or not she has a black grandmother that she claimed that she has. So Candace Owens is on that. And I definitely would be doing an update about that story to see if anything new breaks. But getting back to this poser right here, in the meanwhile.
Long-standing priority of mine. I have done that work and I will
continue to treat it as a priority when I am elected President of the United States. And it is my pledge to you, understanding how solutions get formed, that I will reach across the aisle and I will embrace common sense approaches and new technologies to get the job done. Because I know transnational gangs coming across the border, trafficking in guns, drugs, and human beings could care less who somebody voted for in the last election. They could care less. They've got one goal in mind. And it is therefore critically important that anybody who calls themselves a leader would work with other leaders for common sense solutions, understanding the pain and the suffering that Americans are experiencing if we don't work together to fix these problems. And look, transnational gangs, one of the things I know about them, they are always innovating. So to disrupt them, we must do the same. And that means, again, working together in real time, grounded on finding common sense approaches, not just about some rhetoric at a rally, but actually doing the work of fixing a problem.
Ooh, I'm so impressed. Ooh, nothing about her is believable. I don't get it.
And as president, I won't only bring back the border security bill that Donald Trump tanked. I will do more to secure our border. To reduce illegal border crossings, I will take further action to keep the border closed between ports of entry. Those who cross our borders unlawfully will be apprehended and removed and barred from re-entering for 5 years. We will pursue more severe criminal charges against repeat violators. And if someone does not make an asylum request at a legal point of entry and instead crosses our border unlawfully, they will be barred from receiving asylum. While we understand that many people are desperate to migrate to the United States, our system must be orderly and secure. And that is my goal. And that is my goal. Securing our border also means addressing the flow of fentanyl into our communities. Fentanyl is
But isn't it too late, y'all? Don't we already have an issue that is maximized to the brink? She definitely is a little bit too late. But she's trying to make it seem like she can catch it before it becomes overly a problem. It's already overly a problem. It's been a problem. We have to get people that's willing to fix the problem. And oh, my dog is doing something. Hold on. Fix the problem.
scourge on our country. The nature of it as a drug is such that it is highly addictive and it is highly lethal. So much so that using it one time only can be fatal. I have met far too many families, parents, loved ones who have lost a family member, a child, to fentanyl. And their grief is heartbreaking. And the devastation caused by fentanyl is being felt from rural communities to big cities. It's impacting communities across our country, regardless of where they... It
only matters what race she is, because she said she was one thing and she might not be that one thing at all. That one thing that she says that she is might not be a part of her history at all. And we need to know if somebody would lie about their own origins, they would definitely lie about any other thing. So that's why that story is important for those that are trying to say that her race doesn't matter. She made it matter. She made it matter by bringing it up, by putting the person in her book that showcased a woman being so-called black. And this person supposedly, allegedly had passed away in 1960. And her picture was done in the 90s with that same person that supposedly is not alive since 1960. That's why the issue about her claiming to be black, and Candace is on the case. Again, this is all to verify whether or not she's telling the truth about her origins. And I think that if she's been a liar, she'll be a liar. That is the whole point of bringing it up, in my opinion.
Or geographically, politically, or any other demographic you choose to talk about. It's a scourge in our country, and we have to take it seriously. And as president, I will make it a top priority to disrupt the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States.
Too late. But anyways, and she could have did something while she's sitting there right now. What has she done except for posing?
And I know everyone here understands that most of the fentanyl in America comes from two cartels based in Mexico. Most often, they are smuggling it through vehicles at legal ports of entry, like the one I visited today. The fact is, border officers don't have enough resources and are only able to search a fraction of the vehicles that pass through their checkpoints. This is unacceptable. They need the resources to do their jobs. And as we could have done with that border security bill, I will surge support to law enforcement agencies on the front lines, more personnel, more training, and more technology, including 100 new inspection systems that can detect fentanyl hidden in vehicles. And we will make sure that our ports of entry, including airports and seaports, have additional state-of-the-art technology to detect fentanyl and the chemical tools used to make it. I will also double the resources for the Department of Justice to extradite and prosecute transnational criminal organizations and the cartels. Yes. I will ensure that we target the entire global fentanyl supply chain because we must materially and sustainably disrupt the flow of illicit fentanyl coming into our country. My approach takes into account.
I just really have a hard time listening to her. Like, I have to give myself a break in between her speech because she makes me go kind of insane a little bit. I have to help myself get through it, but I have to break it up. So let me just show y'all the latest and what this investigation is about with Kamala Harris' family. Again, Candace Owens is doing a background check on her lineage, her Jamaican side, her father's side. And we're going to find out right now where she stands with her investigation. And then I'll go back and finalize her little speech. I can't take a liar. I know she's a liar. I know that she's a great pretender and a poser. I know she's a chameleon. It's very frustrating for me to like sit there and take what she says because I don't believe none of it.
All right, guys, happy Friday. Well, if we've learned anything this week, it's that the media should have just left Janet Jackson alone. That really is the lesson. That really is the moral. I mean, I didn't want to be doing this. I told my husband I was going to chill for the rest of the year because we've had enough excitement this year. Fired, banned from YouTube. I was like, well, I'm just going to relax. But then the media came out and tried to paint Janet Jackson as mentally unbalanced. And I'll be honest, something came over me. I was just like...
No, she did.
And so here we are. Welcome back to Candace.
I missed this part. Oh, no, that was funny. Okay, let's get to the beginning. I want y'all to understand what's going on here.
But it would help. It would help us better understand why Kamala is hiding an entire piece of her family. It's completely bizarre. So what we want to do today, because so many of you guys are emailing me, is to just organize what we know for a fact, plus tell you a couple of new things that we've discovered in the last few hours. And then if you want to send me more stuff, just make sure it's one of the things, or it's pertaining to one of the things that we have a question mark on. So first, we're going to just go through a timeline of the relevant people. Let's start with Beryl Magdalene Christie. So we're going to actually give you guys this timeline so you can look through it. Anything that is italicized means that it's still a question mark. We're still wondering whether or not this document could be Beryl or could be somebody else, and we're awaiting a confirmation. What we know for a fact is that Beryl was born in 1917. We know this because we have the birth certificate, and Iris's name, which is Beryl's mother, is listed as Iris Finnegan on the birth certificate. Again, Beryl is spelled slightly differently, but we know because of Kamala's book that name spelling shifted over the years and was also spelled with a Y. We then have a document, and this is highly suspicious, that Beryl birthed Donald Harris. Allegedly, this could be Kamala's father. The only problem is that we're looking here not at a birth certificate, but a death certificate, which would put the birth of Donald around 1938. It looks like this infant died just a few months short of turning 2 years old. So could have been born in 1938, died in 1940 November. And it says, oddly, that this is the son of Albert Harris, so that's confusing. But this is the only document that we could find for a Donald Harris that has a mother named Beryl Harris. And again, that Donald died. So this one is a question mark. We know for a fact, however, that Beryl Magdalene Finnegan was married in 1944. She was 25 years old. We have that marriage certificate, and she was married to Lawford Newland. And here's where things get strange, because we were able to locate the divorce document between Lawford Newland and Beryl Magdalene, and that divorce took place in 1956. Okay, so they were married. That would mean if Donald Harris, J. Harris, was in fact born, Kamala's father was in fact born in 1938, and they didn't divorce until 1956, and he grew up with Beryl, as he signifies in his book, My Mother, Miss Beryl, or in his Jamaican paper that he wrote about his ancestral roots, that would mean throughout the majority of his young life, from the time he was 6 till the time he was 18, his mother, Miss Beryl, was married to Lawford Newland, and yet he declines to mention Lawford Newland at all. Major, major question mark. We move on to a possible death certificate, and I feel very strongly that this is the correct death certificate. 1960 for Beryl Christie Finnegan. We are learning here that she died of fibroids, and as we know, if this is a woman who suffered with birth, this could make sense. The story could make sense that she died a couple of years after she got divorced. But again, we're not completely sure. We're looking for something that is concrete, where we can say, yes, this Beryl Finnegan died in 1960, which then makes Kamala's timeline of having met her grandmother, who had died before she was even born, highly suspicious. Then we jump to 1995, because people have been sharing this other possible death certificate. And I'm going to rank this as a very low likelihood. One, because somebody sent me an email and they gave me a strong lead that this could actually be a different Beryl Christie Clark. And we're going to look into that further. But also because the person listed as having been there when she died was Douglas Finnegan. And we don't have a Douglas Finnegan in this family. And also, if you look at the date of death and the age, 81 years old, that would mean that this individual was born in 19...
Again, for those that came in late, this is investigating her, Kamala Harris's lineage on her father's side. Again, we need to know if her grandmother was Black or not, or somebody that she made up in her book, gave a picture of this person, and supposedly this person passed away in the 1960s, 1960 to be exact. but took a picture in the 90s with this person. Sure, it could have been a cropped up picture or whatever like that. We want to know if she's made up a grandma to blacken her lineage or not. This is what Candace Owens is on. And I think that it's important because if you can lie about your origins, you got scarier lies to tell. Much scarier lies to tell. Who would have cared that she was just Indian and white? Why would she have to link herself up to so-called, the Black American, claiming to be African American on her father's side, which doesn't make sense to me because her father is from Jamaica and came to America. How would that make her suddenly African American because she was born in America, but her father is from Jamaica? So that does not make you a Black American because you were born here. That makes you Jamaican American. So that's still a stretch, trying to cloak herself with the identity of Black Americans to get Black votes, basically.
1914, which would have been before our Beryl was born. So we're going to continue to rule this one out by trying to locate who that Douglas Finnegan is that signed. But I rank this as a very low likelihood, but we want to keep it here as possible because it's not entirely ruled out. Now let's jump over to Oscar Joseph Harris, Beryl's alleged husband, who I am now certain was never her husband, and I'll explain why. Okay, we know for a fact that Oscar Joseph Harris, who Kamala purports is her grandfather in her book, was born in 1914. On April 5th, we have that birth document, making it all the more suspicious that we can't find her alleged father's, Donald Harris's, who was born after him. We then know, which we discovered yesterday, super huge development, that he married and that wedding was recorded in the local newspaper, the Daily Gleaner. And you can see, even though it's a shadowed photo, that very much looks like the photo of Oscar Joseph Harris that she shared. And because of the details that were provided in this article, we know for a fact that it is him because it lists the fact that his brother Newton stood in as best man. And we know for a fact that Newton is the brother. So we know for a fact that they got married, and he died in 1976 in St. Catherine. We have his death certificate. Now I want to point this out to you because this is actually something that's quite odd. Allegedly, he only had one child, and that child was Kamala's father. That's what we are told, that his only child was Donald J. Harris. But something's not right there, because if you look at this death certificate, look at the bottom here. You see that the person that is the informant, letting them know that he died, is Christopher Harris. And when you look under, it asks, what is your qualification? Essentially, what is your qualification to inform? And it's his son. It says in parentheses, his qualification is son. And so his son was there, and his son's name is Christopher Harris, not Donald Harris. And I'm just wondering, who is Christopher Harris? This is a major question mark. Donald Harris, do you have a brother named Christopher Harris? If not, is Donald Harris actually the son of Oscar Harris? We'll get into more of that later. Okay, now let's look at Viora Anita Cambridge Harris, because we know that she got married. What we know for a fact about her is that she was born in 1927. We were able to locate her birth certificate. Yes, Viora Cambridge was born in St. Elizabeth, Jamaica. We know, again, as we already mentioned, that she married Oscar Joseph Harris, and we know that because there was a huge announcement about the wedding. And then we wanted to be able to track how long they stayed married for. Did they actually stay married until he died? And it looks like they did, in fact, stay married until he died. And this is how we know. Her name appears in that Daily Gleaner in 1966. So in the corner there, you can see that it says Viora Harris, it says Mrs. Viora Harris, implying that she is still married, and she has been appointed to the senior postmaster position. So we know that they were still very much married at this time. And then we know that he died in 1976, and she kept his name by choice, okay, when she was naturalized in the United States, okay? We found her documents of naturalization. I'm going to show that to you. This is in 1991. And there is a portion of this where it explicitly asks her if she wants to change her name. So she has the option here to go back to Cambridge. Her husband is now dead, and she decides she doesn't want to do that. You can see number 4 there. I request that my name be changed to none. So when she was naturalized, she kept her married last name, which is Vioris Anita Harris. So major problem here again when we get into Donald J. Harris's story that he told in the newspaper about his Jamaican heritage, because we now know that they got married and then they stayed married until he died. So Mass Oscar, the entire time, was married to this white woman whose name is Vioris Cambridge Harris. We then know that at some point she was able to abandon her marriage and maybe just filed something that he was deceased. We have not located that form, so that's another question mark, but she did remarry a man named Errol McPherson. Okay, in 1994. We know that for a fact because there are records down in Florida that indicate that. And then we know that she died in 2019 in Broward County. Of course, I've already shared with you yesterday.
Now, this is the white woman in question that may be actually Kamala Harris's real grandma, posing as a black woman. She used another person that might have been the help of the family as the grandma instead of her actual grandmother here. So this is what she's on the case, trying to establish whether or not this person is the grandma, the real grandma, and the one that she's blackened it to be, that woman actually died in 1960. And that can't be her grandmother because she took a picture with that woman supposedly in the 90s, and that person was been deceased for like 30 years. Is this person looking like Kamala Harris, Kamala, can't say her name, Kamala Harris or not? Look at her eyes, look at her nose. Does she look like she could resemble her? This is the question that Candace Owens is on, and we're gonna definitely get more information about whether or not she has been blackening her grandma or not. Let's see.
The funeral website. So you guys are like me, you like to take notes. We're leaving this up for you so that you can know exactly what it is that we have and follow this timeline as we continue to investigate it. So let's talk about the major issues that our timeline presents. So I believe it is undeniable, having seen her face and her smile, that Vioris is very clearly related to Kamala Harris. Okay? So obviously we know
they look alike. Look at the nose. Look at the nose, y'all. Look at the eyes. Look at the frontal part right here in the corner of her, the nose and stuff like that. It looks similar. I'm not gonna lie, it does look similar. Even the forehead, the arching of the forehead and the hair looks kind of similar. Could this be her grandma, the one that she's concealing from us, not trying to let it be known somehow that she does have white instead of black? She claimed that her grandma was black. Would it matter that she lied and said that her grandma was black and this is actually her grandma? I think it would matter. I think it would matter. They look similar to me. But we're alleging that this could be her grandma. We're going to find out whether or not soon. Candace Owens is on this, and I'm waiting to get the details so that I can share with y'all the findings. But this might be her actual grandmother. Does it matter if she lied and made her grandmother black? I think so. I think it would be big news if this woman comes out to be the grandma and not the black woman that she posed in her book. That would be big news.
Must be Kamala Harris's grandmother. But here's a problem. In order for that to be Kamala Harris's grandmother, Vioris would have had to have birthed Donald Harris, Kamala's father, when she was just 11 years old. I find that to be extremely unlikely. extremely unlikely that Vioris, and she would have been at Cambridge then, so they would have had to have had some sort of affair before they got married, okay? So he was born in 1938. She would have had to have been pregnant when she was 10, or she would have been pregnant in 1937, gave birth in 1938. Then they decided to hold off on the wedding until 1944. You know, maybe they did. Maybe he got a 10-year-old pregnant and they waited until she was older to get married. But I think that's extremely unlikely that an 11-year-old girl gave birth. And if she did give birth, I don't think her father would have walked her down the aisle as he did. We learned that from the entry in the Gleaner, in the Daily Gleaner. It was announced that her father, V.S. Cambridge, held her hand as they walked down the aisle. I think your dad, if some random person knocked you up at the age of 10, probably wouldn't have done that. He probably would have chased him with a shotgun. I'm imagining here. But that was what we would have to believe in order for this to be Kamala's grandmother. And the other thing that I keep asking myself is, why lie about this? Why is Kamala hiding this woman who she's very clearly closely related to? That's the other issue that I have, because, okay, yeah, I get it. They always want to lean into being black, but people don't have a problem if you just have one white grandparent. You know, she could have tried to grift this in a different way. She could have tried to complicate it in a different way, but she was dead set on hiding this woman. Why? There's something here that we're missing about Vioris Cambridge Harris that presents a problem for Kamala Harris. Is it because of the age gap? Maybe. The thing is, Donald J. Harris is the biggest problem in our story. We keep arriving at the Donald J. Harris problem. This is what we need to really focus all of our attention to, because we don't have any birth certificate for him.
And he does not look black to me. I don't care how many people talk about his hair or whatever. You heard of other white people having different type of hair. What's the name of that Richard Simmons guy? Used to have, you know, hair that resembled an afro. There's other white people that I have seen in times past that have had their hair look similar to an afro, but they're white. His hair may look a little bit different, but I really feel like this man is Indian and white. I don't see no black in this man whatsoever. But they're trying to sell us this notion that this man is black. I'm not going. So I'm glad that Candace is up on this, trying to see who is this black woman that she posed in her book as being black and Jamaican, whether or not that person is actually factually her grandma. But again, that particular person that took that picture in the 90s, this apparent so-called grandma was deceased in 1960. So there's something that's in the beginning of the story not right. That's why Candace is more inclined to still investigate. People want to say it's white supremacy for her to investigate, but I think that we should vet the people that are trying to be president. We don't know how far they're going to go as far as trying to be Marxist or communist or socialist or something really crazy left. I'm glad that she's doing this. Let's listen.
The fact that we have birth certificates for everyone else around him. We've got birth certificates for his uncles. We have birth certificates for his father. We have birth certificates for every single person in his orbit. We have birth certificate for Vioris. There's no reason, it's very clear, that they had no troubles keeping records in this family. But there's no birth certificate for Donald J. Harris. We also cannot find a marriage certificate for him. So we mentioned to you guys yesterday, we found a marriage announcement here in Jamaica. We also found a marriage announcement near Oakland. The announcement, we've also seen an entry for the divorce. An entry, by the way, we still have not been able to find a divorce docket. We're looking for it in the court system. It should be there. But why does he not have any concrete documents? Where is their actual marriage certificate? There was an announcement, by the way, for an annulment. Also published near Oakland that they had filed for an annulment in 1971. But again, we cannot locate the marriage certificate, and I find that to be problematic. What we do know, by the way, so that you guys don't go off in the wrong direction, is that the mother is listed as Goplin Iyer. So we were at first looking for Shyamala Iyer. It looks like when they were married, she was married under just Goplin Iyer. And so if you're going to try to locate this marriage certificate, I would suggest editing to looking for her name in particular. My instinct is that he maybe had a different name that he was using, a different legal name that he was using. And then there is the problem with his entire story that he presents when he writes about his Jamaican heritage. His memory is either extremely faulty or he's an outright liar. In his memory, he writes that he completely neglects to include the fact that his mother, who he calls Miss Beryl, was married to Lawford Newland and remained married to him for 12 years of his life, from the time he was 6 until he was 18 years old. That is a major problem. You don't forget that when you're writing about your upbringing. Yeah, actually, she was married to somebody else. He recounts growing up with Oscar Harris, right? Mass Oscar, as he refers to him, and Miss Beryl. But both of them were married to other people when he was growing up, not to one another. This is why we cannot find a marriage record between Beryl and Oscar. My conclusion is they were never married. They were never married because Oscar was married to his wife, Fioris, until he died in 1976. So Donald's story makes entirely no sense. He lied or he misremembered. And in fact, the only scenario in which he is telling the truth about all of them being there on the farm at the exact same time is if Miss Iris was actually Fioris, the white woman, okay, who was married to his father, Oscar Harris, Mass Oscar, with the domestic help, Miss Beryl Finnegan, and who died young, and her mother, Iris Finnegan, on hand. That could make sense to me, right? Because I understand how that works, how an entire family will work on a farm.
So it's making sense. We have to wait and see. There's something that's strange to me about Kamala Harris calling herself black. Really strange to me. I am not buying not a word of this so-called notion that, oh, my father's Jamaican. And we have to just automatically include him being melanated black. I'm not going. And hopefully she's going to find something soon and very soon that's going to blow up this election. Torch this election if that black woman in that book was not her grandma. Ooh. Torched.
For another family. As you know, my grandfather grew up on a sharecropping farm in the South. This would have been around that same time. My grandfather was born in 1942, so I could see that making sense. But then again, we would have to arrive at the diabolical conclusion that she turned the help into her family because she wanted the public to think that she had a blacker history of some description. But as I said, we still have a major Donald Harris problem. We have no birth certificate. And we also don't know who or where Christopher Harris is, Oscar's son, who was present at the time of his death. I've looked up Christopher Harris in the record.
So we have a lot of more questions to have to be answered. I'm hoping that she will do her due diligence and get to the root of it. But I just believe that she's on the right track. And I feel like something's about to break with this story. And it's going to be so freaking interesting how the Democrats are going to maneuver. If it is proved that she does not have a black grandma that she has been posing with the help. Ooh, that would be rich. That would be really rich. Let me see. I'm going to make my way back to her speech. I have a hard time listening to this woman. I have to help myself out along the way. I'm not lying. Let me see. Let's get back to this. It's not that long to go, but it's still painful. Hold on. Please like and share the video. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you. All right, let's get back to the lies.
into account also that the precursor chemicals used to make fentanyl are by and large made in China and then shipped to Mexican cartels and trafficked right here into the United States. Our administration demanded that China crack down on the companies that make those chemicals, and it has started to happen. But they need to do more. And as president, I will hold them to their commitment to significantly reduce the flow of precursor chemicals coming from China. And all of this to say, we must tackle this issue from every angle, because our highest charge must be to protect the lives of our people. It must be to understand the pain.
And who is her people? I would like to know. I don't think she considers Americans her people. She has not moved in a way to think that she really cares about us as a people. She has left us high and dry, assed out with this notion of her people. I don't want to be one of her people. I'm not looking forward to that at all. Look at her. Tell me if you don't see the lies in her. Something is up with this woman, man. She is a communist, a Marxist, someone that wants to take away our ability to become and be American. She wants to be a controller, a dictator. She's the one. They're trying to make it Trump, but actually, she's the one. Not everybody's fooled by her. More and more of us are speaking out. But because we're for Trump, a lot of people like to misunderstand our position. You know, it is a new thing for me to speak out for Trump. I'm not political at all. I'm not influenced by nobody. This is just what I see and what I know things to be. This woman is not to be trusted. This woman has another ulterior motive underneath her sleeve. This woman is doing everything to try to wrangle votes. That's it. She's not for us. She's not for Americans first. Please look through the facade of this woman.
And to have the courage to know that solutions are at hand if we focus on fixing a problem instead of running on a problem. And on this issue, writ large, we must ensure that our country remains strong and competitive, which includes fixing our broken immigration system. And let me be clear, I reject the false choice. I reject the false choice that suggests we must either choose between securing our border or creating a system of immigration that is safe, orderly, and humane. We can and we must do both.
Yeah, she wants to legalize everybody. You get a citizenship. You get a citizenship. You get a citizenship. You, all of y'all, everybody. Yeah. I don't want this woman near the Oval Office. I'm sorry. She looks to be very, very sneakish, deceitful, untrustworthy. We cannot let her get nowhere near that Oval Office. We need somebody that's going to stand up to all that has happened in the past 3.5 years on purpose. not accidental, on purpose. She used whatever she could to do what she did and is continuing to do. And she wants to continue this. Citizens, making people citizenship, giving them citizenship. Unworthy, though. Unprocessed. Just give it up for numbers. No matter how dangerous America becomes, oh well. Deal with it, American. If you lose your life, oh well. If you get injured, oh well. If you lose and get robbed, oh well. If you're maimed, oh well. We have a strategy to get numbers. We have a strategy to stay on top. We don't care about the dangers that we bring to you. American. Fuck your Americanness. We got a new plan, and you are not included. If you think you are, you silly. She's on the side of globalists that want to dismantle America as a whole. I'm trying to tell y'all.
And we need clear legal pathways for people seeking to come into our country. And we must make
legal pathways for those who seek to come into our country, whatever and whoever you are, illegal or whatever you are, dangerous, gangsters, gang members, drug carrying, toting individuals, murderers, rapists, whatever you are. We'll take all of you for your vote. We'll take any of you for your vote. She wants to legalize anybody that has come over here thus far. That's a fucking crying shame, y'all. Why would y'all align yourself with something like that? Something like this, and a imposter and poser.
our current system work better. For example, it can take years for asylum claims to be decided. Well, this is a problem we can solve.
You're more concerned about people that's trying to become American than Americans that are already here. American first. Americans first. That's Donald J. Trump. Ironically, the same name as her father, Donald J. It's fucking maddening to think that she might be lying about her heritage. And her father happens to have the name of Donald J., like Donald J. Trump. Unbelievable. Can y'all think about that for a minute? The irony of all that. Her lying ass just out here lying. But telling us the truth about legalizing folks, that's the part she's telling the truth on. Securing the border, she's lying about. She's gonna do the same thing that's going on right now. Nothing. But she's gonna be legalizing people left and right and center.
Including by hiring more asylum officers and expanding processing centers in people's home countries. And as president, I will work with Congress to create At long last, a pathway to citizenship for hardworking immigrants who have been here for years.
And ones that just got here. That's been here for years and ones that just got here. Everybody. That's what she gonna do. She ain't said that part though. She ain't gonna tell you that part. That's why she's milling around, not trying to answer questions, not trying to talk about this migrant crisis, not trying to talk about how many people are already here illegally, how many people that are dangerous here, unknown and unvetted. She's not trying to talk about none of that.
I also have in mind our dreamers.
She have a mind for all of them. Anybody has come over here illegally or wherever, she has a plan for all of them. But what about us Americans? What about us? She doesn't have a plan for us. She's going to ask us out. She's about to implode America if we let her.
Our dreamers throughout my career, they who have grown up in the United States, were educated here, pay taxes here, serve in our military, and contribute to our communities every day. They are American in every way. But still,
look at that, 15K illegal alien rapists roaming USA. But she sits here claiming that she got all the answers and she's going to do right by us. No, she's not. Those people are going to be running free and rampant. She's only concerned about legalizing folks. She's not concerned about the safety of America first. She's not that.
They do not have an earned pathway to citizenship. And this problem has gone unsolved at this point now for decades. The same goes for farm workers, who ensure that we have food on our tables and who sustain our agricultural industry. And they too have been in legal limbo for years. Because
where is the talk for our folks, Black Americans, since she's trying to use so-called African American? She's talking about the farmers. Who are the farmers? Mexicans and other immigrants. She's for them. She's not for Black folks. She's not for our plight and our struggle. She's not mentioned one thing about us in none of her speeches. None. But we're propping her up as being a Black American? And she's not even Black American. She's not our lineage or our history. But somehow she can use us up like dirty socks and discard them whenever she's done. This woman is a fraud. She's not for us. Black Americans, please look at this woman. She's for every other group but you. But she's using you and your vote and your history towards her story that may even become fake. That might not even be the truth. We gonna see. Who is this woman in front of me? She's not a Black American. We're gonna see who you are.
politicians have refused to come together to fix our broken immigration system. Well, as president, I will put politics aside to fix our immigration system and find solutions.
Solutions for the Democrats. Solutions to secure their numbers of voters. Yes, Kamala is not for veterans. Facts, Pinky. She doesn't include us. Aunt Esther, she is anti-us. She is anti-Indigenous Black American. She's for everybody else but us at our expense. We would be done dirty. She intends to do us dirty. That's why her origin is very important, because a lot of people are just voting off of the fact that they think she's black. They think she's one of us. Huh. And if that news come out that she's really not at all one of us, ooh, I can't wait. I can't wait. Please like and share the video. Stop being a hater. Support me. You're watching me anyways. Apparently you like the information that's coming out. So stop dilling and daddling and hit the like.
To problems which have persisted for far too long. For far too long, we have all known this is not working as it can and as it should. And so, as I said at the beginning, these issues are highly consequential for our nation. And the contrast in this election is clear. It is a choice between common sense solutions and the same old political games.
What has she done for you, black folks? Let me talk to y'all. In her whole entire career, what has she done as a blessing for Black Americans? She's been a hindrance, a thorn in our side. Truancy laws got moms hemmed up that have sickly kids. She ain't never been a mom to even think about a kid being sick. Got us all hemmed up. But she's utilizing our lineage and our history towards her story that may be actually faked. Faked. This woman don't give a damn about you, or you. None of you. All of you. And yet we putting on and propping her up as our fucking woman that's gonna prize for us, do something for us, come out and do something for us. But she's talking about migrants and immigrants and dreamers, everybody else that need to be legalized. Not you. You already an American. You've been an American for hundreds of years. Black Americans. Nobody's thinking about you. Nobody's thinking about us. Trump is the only one that's going to close the border, is going to get some of these rejects out and not target us, not fuck with us. Not trying to lean in on us. She's the type that leans in on black folks. For some reason, she got a taste for it. But she's posing as if she's one of us. And I can't wait for that to be dispelled. Where is the black in this woman when you look at her right here? It's nowhere. It's Indian and white.
In the 4 years that Donald Trump was president, he did nothing to fix our broken immigration system. He did not solve the shortage of immigration judges.
He did not solve the shortage of border agents. He did not create lawful pathways into our nation. He did nothing to address an outdated asylum system.
There's some of the areas where I'm seeing lines. My forehead lines, I got curfew right here, my frown lines.
An outdated asylum system, and did not work with other governments in our hemisphere to deal with what clearly is also a regional challenge. As overdoses went up during his presidency, he fought to slash funding for the fight against fentanyl. And what did he do instead? Well, let's talk about that. He separated
what he did. Let her tell it what he did. But he did not do what she's claiming. She is the one that's orchestrating all this stuff that's going on right now. She's been in office for 3.5 years and allowed these things to be, and Biden. They're happy as a lark to have all these extra numbers of people that are going to want to legalize to become Americans for their pursuit of power. Communism. Taking away our rights. Making a mockery of the Constitution. That's what she's on. Look at her. You believe this woman? Hawkish as fuck. A liar she is. Where is this Black American at in this woman? Where is this Black American woman? She's a liar.
families. He ripped toddlers out of their mothers' arms, put children in cages, and tried to end protections for dreamers. He made the challenges at the
and try to end the protection of dreamers. Did they come over here illegally? She has this notion of protection of anyone that's not American. Don't y'all see that? She's telling you right here, honestly, I give a damn only about dreamers, illegals, and people that are trying to become Americanized. You have sailed your boat, and that boat now has sailed. I'm on to the next thing, and you're not on it. I'm just going to use you up and spit you out. Lie in your face, play in your face, everything. But I'm not black. Ha 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 ha. Her little stupid ass laugh. Cackling in the thickness of the night like a witch. She's not one of us. She's never been one of us. This long lie has been going on for a long time. I can't wait when it comes out.
Worse. And he is still fanning the flames of fear and division. And let me be clear.
But he's not. He's American first. Something that she would never get. Something that people have forgotten about being about. Now is being changed over to anything but American. That's what she's on. Anything but American.
That is not the work of a leader. That is not the work of a leader. And that is, in fact, I think we all believe, an abdication of leadership. And so on behalf of all across our nation who want to see these problems solved, I say we cannot accept
Donald Trump's failure to lead. We should not.
Where did he fail? He was better economy than yours now, yours and Biden. Where did he fail? You just talking out the side of your neck. I'm so glad that many other black folks are speaking up. But when we speak, again, we're called and claimed to be a part of a cult. We're claimed to be everything else under the sun but a child of God. But we need to speak out more for Trump, because this woman is wicked. She doesn't have good intentions for us. People are attacking us left and right and center. We got to be more vocal, and I'm glad more people are speaking. Hold on.
I don't care about StarCraft, Minecraft, Acolyte.
Skin folks don't make us kin folks.
We don't have time for this culture war crap. I don't care about StarCraft, Minecraft, Acolyte, Star Wars, Darth Vader. I don't care.
Now, I told y'all when y'all come for me, I come back in sense. People like to think they slick. I need to come on by here and show them I do oil changes. Now, we're going to address this. We lost another one to the code. First of all, who is another one? Because I don't even know you. When were we together? Skin folks don't make us kin folks.
Oh, wow. Did she just call out the Democrat Party for assuming her skin color would make her vote blue? Many people here came in my comments on the last video because I mentioned a couple of YouTube channels that are big, and certain people worship big channels, believe everything they say. That's just the way it is. I'm not here for that. I don't have time for it. I don't have time for that. This is time as a collective. We need to be looking at the same target downrange. The Democrat Party is so much better at it than we are.
And sometimes dirt is thicker than blood, if you know what I'm saying. So how could you lose somebody you don't know? How many of my bills have you paid? How many children do I got? Do you even know that? No, you don't. So we ain't lost nothing. And then you're going to say, we lost another one to the cult. The only hateful, evil, vile, occultic type of people is yourself. Because you're trying to make people who look like you vote for somebody who, under false pretense, supposed to be like you. Is you out of your mind? We cannot be this ignorant in this day and age. I'm not voting for anybody else based on their color. And let me explain.
Wow. OMG. The Democrat Party. Wow. This is so good. And you know it as good as I do. If you only believe a little bit of what they believe, they hate you. You've got to go all in. The hatred.
You got to go all in. And again, a lot of people think that Black Americans are like beholden to the Democrats. Like we can't break away from the Democrats. And if you do, they're going to come for you. They're going to call you racist. They're going to call you dividers of the race of blackness and all this other silly talk. I'm not allowing somebody to dictate what I'm going to say or what I'm going to do. I'm going to say what I'm going to do based on truth. And what I know is that Kamala Harris is not on the right situation to even like support policies that's going to be beneficial to blackness, black people in America. She's going to use us up and spit us out like an overly chewed up piece of gum. There's a lot of information out there that showcases Kamala Harris failures, but a lot of people don't want to hear it because they have been brainwashed into believing what the Democrats are spinning. But Texas has been a very interesting state that has been trying to deal with the border crisis. and he pinpoints who the problem is in this scenario.
Thank you so much, Governor Abbott, for speaking with us today at the New York Post. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
You know, one of the big issues that has faced New York is something that stemmed from your decision to bus migrants there and to other cities. You kind of planted the seeds for migration to New York, Denver, Chicago by essentially organizing and expediting the flow through your busing effort. We have people like Jamie Dimon and others saying it's responsible for making the border issue a national issue. Do you deserve credit for that?
Well, listen, I took action to help people in the state of Texas. The Biden administration was dropping off hundreds or more of migrants they had processed into small little towns on the border like Del Rio and Eagle Pass. And I said, we're not going to take this anymore. This is not a Texas issue. This is a United States issue caused by the Biden administration. And if they refuse to come to the border and see the disaster they caused, I was going to take the border to them. And we were busing migrants initially only to the sanctuary city of Washington, D.C., so that people in Washington, D.C., the leaders there, will see firsthand the chaos they created. And then out of nowhere, Mayor Adams of New York started criticizing me for busing them to New York, which I was not doing. But he kept criticizing me, and I thought, you know what? New York is a sanctuary city, and if I'm going to get the criticism, I'm going to get the credit. And so we started busing them to New York, and then, as you know, it expanded to sanctuary cities across the United States. The sanctuary city, they volunteered to provide food and housing to migrants, and then when they had to actually live up to it, they couldn't do it. But you are right. Because of that process, people across the country began to understand this is not a Texas issue. This is a United States issue. And it made them focus on it politically, either at the city council level or all the way to the presidential level.
Yeah, it sounds like from what you're saying that Adams provoked it.
Exactly.
Is that what happened here? Is he kind of poked the bear and you said, okay, well, if you're accusing me of this, I'll just do it?
Yeah. So what was going on in New York, it was actually the Biden administration that was initially sending migrants to New York. And Adams wanted somebody to criticize, and he probably knew it was the Biden administration, but he wanted to use me as a punching bag. And I thought, you know what? If he thinks that we're sending them there, we'll live up to what his expectations are, and we'll start sending them there. But it wasn't just there. Because of the massive flow across the border, we needed a valve release, and that meant that we had to move those migrants from the border that were overrun in small little communities to make sure that we would be able to have locations to send them to. And the only locations we chose are locations that were self-identified as sanctuary cities because they volunteered for this.
Sure. One of the other biggest issues that stemmed from the border crisis has been the rise of Tren de Aragua, the Venezuelan prison gang. Obviously, you've taken some recent steps to counter their foothold in the state of Texas, knowing that they're coming through El Paso largely, and you've identified certain areas of the state. Why did you decide to take matters into your own hands on that issue, and how is Texas showing that it's acting on it?
So what's going on with gangs in general, but also dangerous gangs like Tren de Aragua, is so frustrating because this is all caused by Biden and Harris opening the border to people from Venezuela, including gangs. And there's no data that even the Biden administration has to consider whether or not the people coming from Venezuela are gang members or not. And as a result, we have seen the TDA gang establish footholds from New York all the way to Texas. And this is a very dangerous gang. So there were three things I wanted to do. First, to shed a light on the danger that we're facing. A lot of Americans and Texans didn't know exactly what was going on. And so by doing what I've done, there's now a greater understanding and realization about the fact that this dangerous gang is in the United States. then the second thing is I wanted to take action to make sure that this gang understands that they're not accepted in the state of Texas. And so I organized all of these anti-gang centers to make this their top priority, to make sure that they are sharing information at the federal, state, and local levels and working operationally to get rid of these gangs. And then I wanted to set a bounty on these Tren de Aragua gang members to make sure that anybody who knows any information whatsoever will share it with law enforcement in the state of Texas so that we have greater information to directly go after these dangerous gang members.
Okay, so let's move on to the election. Former President Donald Trump is saying that he's going to carry out the biggest deportation effort we've seen in this country's history. Is that something that you would be pitching in with? Have you thought about that at all? Would Texas step in to be part of that effort?
So on actions like that, that's action by law that's relegated to the federal government. That said, we will work collaboratively with the Trump administration to make sure that we as a state and we as a country are doing everything we can to regain control of the border, to regain control of the illegal immigration process, and to put an end to the illegal immigration process.
What have you been...
That's what I say. That's what I'm talking about. Put an end to the illegal process. They're illegal. There's something wrong with that picture to be illegal. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat room. I know I've been on a little bit longer than I normally is on without playing music. Let me see what you guys are saying though. No, Kamala 2024. Sorry about that. Enough is enough. Oh, you talking about Ryan? Trump can't recite a single Bible verse. It's a lot of verses in the Bible, though. You know that? Enough is working out. Trump 2024. Exactly, Chris Redmond. Jason says we need to help the American vets and our people first. They give thousands of dollars, phones, money for food, while Americans can't pay bills, buy food, medicine, and our rent or mortgage. Exactly. Pinky says, and Abbott was right for shipping those people out of Texas. Exactly. Ryan says, Ozzy, you didn't address what you found wrong with the bipartisan border bill. Tammy says, Ryan, read up and tell us a bedtime story. Tammy. Okay. Please play the video of a woman being arrested for taking care of her daughter. Oh, okay. I remember. I don't know where that video is at, though. I did plan on another video, to be honest. Truancy law. Okay. I'm not sure which video she has, but I talked about her on another video. The lady that had her daughter that had sickle cell anemia, and she was arrested for truancy laws and lost her job and all kinds of stuff behind Kamala Harris. Okay, let me see. U.S. Trump 2024. Exactly, RC Jr. Michael Upright says she should go back to California and fix that state way before letting her keep control of our country. Something like that, exactly. I wouldn't trust her with California, though, to be honest. I don't want her nowhere. Yes, Ozzy, if you want communism, vote blue. Tammy says, Ryan, how about the fact that it allows 5K immigrants every day into the United States? Yeah, that was the reason why Donald Trump did not want that bill. Because 5K immigrants was allowed to come in a day. People don't want to talk about that part, though. Four Rivers says, Mayor Adams was blaming Texas for sending immigrants to New York when it was probably the Biden and Harris administration. Exactly, Four Rivers. John says, I don't know if you've heard, but he sent 5 planes full of patients back to Haiti. It was funny as hell. Who was he? Are you talking about the Texas? Is that the governor? Return to sender. See, easy problem solved. Your freedom is an illusion. Wow. Do you know what it means to have a $35 trillion economy? I don't. Is that what we got? You think? Michael Upright says Harris is president right now and been for a while. Oh, wow, Michael. That's bad. Aunt Esther says a Venezuelan prison gang running rampant in America. Yeah, they are. Aunt Esther, you're funny. Ryan says, oh, Tammy, if a mob was trying to hang you, I suspect you would run for the hills. Pinky says to Ryan, you have access to the same information as everyone else. Look it up. You not listening to anything else people are telling you or telling why would you listen to that? All right. Michael says, I know if I was president of a company and I decided to go to the beach every day, I would expect the VP to run my company. Yeah, where has Biden been? Biden has been hiding for a long time. Four Rivers says most Latin American countries will send their criminals to the United States whenever they get the chance. Well, yeah, that's messed up. It's messed up that that is an option. So anyways, you guys, I have been on here for a while. I hope that you get the gist. Why you should not trust a Kamala Harris. She's on some bullshit. I'm going to play a couple of songs. The last live that I did, it was over 122,000. But I played a song. I'm not sure which song it was that was not permitted. It was copywritten. But I want to play music now because it's been a lot of Harris in this video. What can I play? A lot of songs, though, are copywritten, especially when they're older. I don't know why that is. I don't know why they're tripping in the 70s, some songs. I think it was the white lady that I played that was copywritten. I can't remember her name. Hold on. Give me a selection of a song that I can play. I'm going to play Glenn Jones, We Only Just Begun. And I'm going to look in the chat room and see what songs you want to hear.
Just begun. The romance is not over. Got a lot of love to give. We've only just begun. The romance is not over. I've got so much love to give. I remember oh so well when I first held your hand. And we started to dance. I had this awesome crush on you, hoping deep down inside that you wanted me to. And now we're together, preparing ourselves for the future. Yeah, 'cause there's so much that we can do. Oh girl, let me show you. We've only just begun. The romance is not over. And got a lot of love to give. We've only just begun. The romance is not over.
All right, and the last song, because I didn't hear no other song, is Patti LaBelle, Somebody Loves You, Baby. Oh no, this song came up as being a I hope that this is not the wrong song. It says that it came up as being copywritten though. So I'm gonna take that off. Wow. I'm thinking of another group. I'm gonna play Guy. I like lyrics. Why they messing with me, I don't know. But we have Guy. I'm going to play this song. And if I don't hear no other song, I'm going to conclude this video with this live. Again, in my opinion, Trump is best suited for the border crisis, for the migrant crisis, for all crisis. Kamala Harris has been posing, showing up lately, but it's little too late. Too much, too little, too late. Like the song says. She is not for us collectively, especially for black people. She's utilizing our history, though, and our lineage, though, for her pull for presidency. But if it comes up that she does not have a black grandma that she's been posing with, my God, I'm going to be on that. But we have to wait and see. But we're going to see.
Girl, words can't express the way I feel for you. I like the way you hold me, the way you touch me. I like, girl, everything you do to me, you know I like it. I like, don't stop now. I like, are now reality. Each and every time you are here with me, the touch you give me with your hands. When you caress my skin, I'm under your command. Girl, you hypnotize me with your eyes. It took me some time, now I realize it's you to whom I belong. I love it. The feeling's getting strong. The things you do to me, it brings out ecstasy. It really turns me on. Feeling good to stone. Oh, girl, you are my lover. When I'm with you, there is no other. A spell you got me under. Please don't you leave. I'm on my hands and knees. Words can't express the way I feel. Motions for you.
to love. Oh, baby, you've been sleeping long. All right, all right, all right. I got one more song. Rock Creek Park, the Blackbirds. I'm thinking that's what you mean. I got to make sure that this is not copywritten though. Let me see. I don't know, but I'm gonna try to play it. Hold on.
After dark. On your way.